sledding in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Why would you want to sit inside when you can be out enjoying all of this?
But driving today could be tough. WBTV meteorologist Al Conklin.
The roads don't look too bad in town, but I guarantee you those back roads and certainly in the subdivisions, they are iced over.
Charlotte started the day in the low double digits. Many outlying areas are in single numbers. Many schools are closed, and utilities as far south as Florida have asked consumers to conserve energy because of super cold temperatures. Peter King, CBS News.
A 5-year-old boy and his father are back home in suburban Minneapolis after a judge ordered them released from ICE custody in Texas. Columbia Heights Mayor Amada Marquez Simula.
Well, we have really good news and a ray of light that, we have some family members coming back. ICE is still here.
Kentucky's Republican Senator Rand Paul tells CBS's 60 Minutes.
I want ICE to be able to work, and I want ICE to have trust. So I'm not some bomb thrower from the left that wants to get rid of ICE. I want ICE to function, but I want to restore trust in ICE.
One name dominated at last night's Grammy Awards.
Either Grammy goes to 1, 2, 3, Bad Bunny.
The Puerto Rican reggaeton star's Debí Tirar Más Fotos, the first Spanish-language production to win Album of the Year. More from CBS's Matt Wolf.
Lady Gaga there on a night filled with powerhouse performances and political statements, too.
I'm going to say ICE out.
No one is illegal on stolen land.
Bad Bunny and Billie Eilish making their statements after accepting their Grammys, joining a growing chorus of artists in protest of the Trump administration's targeting of immigrants.
The Rafah border crossing between Gaza and Egypt reopened to limited traffic today for the first time in almost 2 years. The BBC's Yolande Nell is monitoring from Jerusalem.
People will be able to take very little in terms of luggage, nothing metal, only limited medicines even. And just in case anyone was wondering, at the moment, it's been made clear that foreign journalists will not be allowed into Gaza through this route.
The mom of a morning TV show host is missing. Police north of Tucson have announced a search and rescue mission for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, mother of the Today Show Savannah Guthrie, who was reported missing Saturday. Officials say she does not have any cognitive issues, but physical ailments do limit her ability to move around. This is CBS News.
Follow and listen to CBS Mornings on the go on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
It is 6:03. Right now, it's mostly cloudy, 23 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. St. Louis City Police are investigating after St. Louis County officers shot and killed a man overnight. The fatal shooting took place near the corner of 2nd and East Grand. We are told county officers were pursuing the suspect in connection with a shots fired call in the county. That call came from the 8400 block of Lucas and Hunt.
No police were injured. A gun belonging to the pursuit suspect was recovered. More details as they become available.
Homicide detectives began working 2 new cases over the weekend in the city. The man shot dead late Saturday night was on the south side of town. Police say they found the victim on South Broadway, but the shooting took place on Itasca. Less than 3 hours later, a man was shot dead in the 900 block of Olive.
The city is promising a full investigation into another death at the St. Louis Justice Center.
32-year-old Demetria McDial was found alone and unresponsive in her cell Saturday afternoon. Efforts to resuscitate her failed, and she was pronounced dead at the hospital about 6 p.m. Family members told Fox 2 McDial had previously complained of chest pains to jail staff. Mayor Kara Spencer issued a statement. It said she shares the community's concerns over lives lost at the jail, and she called for a detailed investigation. Nearly 24 inmates have died at the City Justice Center since 2020. 2 of them have come since Nate Hayward took over as jail commissioner last September. Scott Jagal, KMOX News.
The police department's Force Investigations Unit is responsible for investigating all in-custody deaths that occur in the city of St. Louis.
A 4-alarm fire destroyed at a Gasconade County winery building early Sunday. The Owensville Fire Department says Wenwood Winery in Bay along Highway K, not far from Herman, went up in flames, drawing a response from more than a dozen departments. No injuries were reported.
The Missouri Fire Marshal's office is investigating the cause of that blaze. Wenwood Redwood Winery's owners describe the loss as heartbreaking, but say they will rebuild as soon as possible.
3 bills in the Missouri legislature would address electric rates in the state by breaking up a utility monopoly market structure.
State Representative Tricia Burns says this legislation starts with businesses before families are eligible, and then this will give them the choice of a supplier.
But ultimately, it just creates a situation where monopolies don't have a blank check.
Burns says every time Ameren bills go out, she is inundated with calls from constituents.
People just don't know why our bills are going so high. Especially, you have new legislation, you have these concerns about AI data centers, and at the end of the day, when there's not choice, people don't feel like they have an ability to control one of their largest expenses in their home.
Abby Foster, Senior Vice President for Retail's Energy Advancement League, says this would only apply to investor and electric utilities, Ameren, Evergy, and Liberty.
And it would make it so that when they're building power plants, if they want to continue to build power plants, they can, but they have to compete with private businesses. And they no longer get, as Representative Burns said, a blank check. So they no longer get their guaranteed rate of return, a percentage profit on top of everything that they build for power plants.
Maria Aquino, KMOX News.
Missouri Treasurer Vivek Malik is turning to the private sector to boost funding for school choice. The Most Scholars program, which provides private school scholarships, saw a 140% increase in applications in a year's time. Malik plans to use a bully pulpit strategy to solicit corporate donations in exchange for tax credits.
My job as treasurer will be to go to these corporate houses and ask and educate them about this great program that we have in the state so that we can have more and more donations to supplement what we have received so far.
Malik requested $50 million to keep up with demand, but the governor's current budget currently proposes only a $10 million increase.
A sign that winter is on its way out, spring training. The Cardinals will be loading equipment trucks at Busch Stadium today in preparation for the trip down to Jupiter. Pitchers and catchers report February 10th, and the full squad workouts begin February 16th.
From the KMOX Business Desk, 6 St. Louis public schools that have been closed since at least 2009 could be demolished under a plan being considered. One, Walnut Park, was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 2013 and is designed by William B. Ittner as his Hempstead School. Euclid School was badly damaged by the tornado. Demolition is expected to cost $1 million per building, according to the Business Journal, and could begin as soon as this summer. Bricks could be salvaged and sold.
We'll check traffic and weather next at 6:08.
Many times, a person hires a law firm after an injury without doing research. It can be a big mistake or not. Sometimes, after you have hired a certain lawyer, you realize you made a certain mistake. But guess what? Just because you hire them doesn't mean you can't fire them. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you think you've hired the wrong firm, you may have. So do this. Google Morgan & Morgan results or visit forthepeople.com for cases just like yours. You may find that our full-service injury firm should have been your choice in the first place. Last year, almost 12,000 people discharged their law firm and hired us after further research. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. Visit forthepeople.com today and let's get started. Or call Pound Law on your cell phone. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathy Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is now 6:10 and time to check traffic and weather. Roger Brands and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things are looking great on the area highways so far this morning, Debbie. We've had some incidents here and there, but nothing's created any backups. The most recent incident is debris reported in the right lane, northbound 141 at Highway 70. I see a little slowdown in the area there, but it's about a half miles, at least a quarter mile south of 70. So that may be where that debris is. We had a report of a vehicle, a motorist changing a tire on a vehicle in the right lane, eastbound 370 near 94, so sort of give them a little space there, but between there and the Discovery Bridge. They're working westbound 370 between 141 and the Discovery Bridge, right lane closed, but that's opposite direction of rush hour flow, so not posing a problem. We had a crash reported in the median, northbound 55, but it's way south of Perryville, and again, interstate travel looks good through there, and a crash off the roadway on Highway C near Highway 79 up in Lincoln County, the Ellsbury area. As well. Illinois Interstate's quiet on the move, just like they are on the Missouri side so far on this Groundhog's Day morning. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg with the very latest on our weather.
Clouds and intervals of sunshine today, and not quite so cold this afternoon with a high reaching 38. Mostly cloudy tonight, 29. Tomorrow, we'll see a bit of snow in the morning with little or no accumulation. Just watch for slick spots. Remaining cloudy and cold tomorrow afternoon with a high of 33. Clouds break for more and more sunshine Wednesday. It'll be cold, though, the high 29. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Currently, we have a partly cloudy sky in downtown St. Louis, looking at 24 degrees.
It is now 6:12, and Missouri's top Republican leaders are rallying behind a new lawsuit to ban illegal immigrants from being counted in the census.
Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway sued the U.S. Department of Commerce Friday, demanding a recount of the 2020 numbers to remove illegal aliens from the total. She argues the current policy costs Missouri a seat in Congress and violates the Constitution. Secretary of State Denny Hoskins calls the lawsuit a no-brainer, saying on X, only U.S. citizens should count in the census. Governor Mike Kehoe also praised the move, saying only citizens hold a fundamental right to representation. The Missouri Freedom Caucus went even further on X, accusing Democrats of using open borders to prop up states that have been, quote, bleeding population, close quote. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
The 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution stipulates how the census should work.
Missouri Republican Senator Eric Schmidt believes that President Trump's choice for a new Fed chair, Kevin Warsh, is a good choice. He tells Fox News current Fed Chair Jerome Powell's assessments of Trump's tariffs were wildly wrong.
Along with most of the financial establishment. But now we're going to have somebody in, I think, that's very forward thinking, that's very focused on growth. We have record investment in this country.
Schmidt says there are people still struggling and things are not as affordable, yet he blames that on the Biden administration.
Black history is American history.
Governor J.B. Pritzker marking the start of Black History Month and the role Illinois has played.
Whether in Bronzeville clubs where Louis Armstrong and Nat King Cole experimented with jazz, or in Brooklyn, Illinois churches where freedom seekers bravely sought passage through the Underground Railroad, or at Rainbow Beach where young activists peacefully protested segregation.
Pritzker says Black history created in Illinois has helped shape the nation.
Air travelers in the U.S. without a real ID or another acceptable form of identification are subject to a new fee. The non-refundable $45 charge isn't a penalty or fine, but payment for non-compliant travelers to use the Transportation Security Administration's new alternate identity verification option called Confirm ID. O'Hare airport traveler Gloria Waddell tells CBS News Chicago the new rule is a bit annoying, but does make sense.
I would hate to have to pay that, but I guess they have to do something to get people to get it done.
The city of Chicago's annual snowplow contest is getting down to the wire.
The city has released the 25 finalists in the fourth annual You Name a Snowplow competition. Atop the list, and reportedly the most popular submission this year, Abolish Ice. Other finalists include Caleb Chilliams, Derek Froese, Monty the Piping Plower, This Is in Florida, Sven Cooley, and Buckingham Plownton. You can vote for your 6 favorites online at chicagoshovels.org through February 14th. Andy Day, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Well, the the Fighting Illini are warming people up in the state of Illinois. Another terrific win for Brad Underwood's team, 78-69 in Nebraska, in Lincoln against the Cornhuskers. Number 9 beats number 5. And that puts Illinois in a tie for the top of the Big Ten with Michigan with a conference record of 10-1. What about the Billikens? They're 21-1 overall. They are headed to Davidson University today to take on the Wildcats for a game we will have for you on KMOX tomorrow. SLU is the talk of college basketball right now. They have moved into the top 25. They're ranked 21. They might move up from there today. We'll see. Jerry Palm, the bracketologist for many years on CBS, he's now on his own at palmbrackets.com. He gave this assessment of SLU's chances to make the tournament as an at-large.
Yeah, they're having a great season. I would be concerned about them if they have to be an at-large team, in part because that means at least one more loss. But their strength of schedule is in the mid-200s. And they're the only team in the at-large part of the bracket that I put together that's outside the top 100 in strength of schedule. So they have a couple quad one wins. VCU on the road and Santa Clara are quad one wins. I don't know that they have any other opportunities. I guess at George Mason would be. And then, of course, the conference tournament might provide some. But I just think the margin for error in terms of being an at-large team is pretty small because of the schedule that they have played and the schedule they have left.
That's Jerry Palm of palmbrackets.com. We'll have the SLU Coaches Show tonight. I'll be at Ballpark Village with SLU women's coach Rebecca Tillett. The Blues are in Nashville, 7 o'clock face-off for them. It's the annual Dads Trip as the dads join the players for games at Nashville and at Dallas. Carlos Alcaraz, 22 years old. He is the youngest ever to complete the career slam in tennis. He won the Australian Open, defeating Novak Djokovic in 4 sets. Eugenio Suarez has a new deal. He is back with the Cincinnati Reds, a 1-year, $15 million deal for Suarez as the power hitter rejoins the club. He used to wreck the Cardinals back in the day. He had 49 home runs in 2019. He is back with Cincinnati. Coming up, it is Josh Schertz, who served drinks at Humphreys after the victory on Friday night against Dayton. He talks about that and more with me from Sports on a Sunday Morning. We'll have that at 6:22. It's coming up on 6:18 on the home of the Cardinals and Billikens, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120. Visit Lance, DRURY law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy place every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Midwest winters take a real toll on your garage door. Let my friends at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis come out and perform their 26-point tune-up on your garage door and opener. The work is guaranteed, and it's just one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. No extra charge for evening or Saturday service. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis since 1926, 100 years. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. That's overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's going on 6:20, so let's get you caught up on your ride in on this Monday morning, Groundhog Day. We'll keep you posted. Punxsutawney Phil is supposed to be poking his little head out soon. We'll let you know what he comes up with. In the meantime, let's check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things are looking pretty good on the highways. Should be this time of day. Light traffic and minimal issues. In fact, I just was looking to see if I could see debris. MoDOT was reporting debris in the right lanes on eastbound 370 near Cave Springs. I see traffic going through the Cave Springs overpass. They all look fine to me, and I don't no delays indicated through there, so that's good news. They are doing road work westbound 370 west of 141 right lane, but again, that's opposite direction of the rush hour flow. They just cleared a stall downtown westbound 64 at Jefferson that wasn't a lane, so that lane's back open. And again, I don't see any delays through there. And in the round the clock work zones like 55 at Festus and north of Bayless. Well, north of Bayless, we do have a little heavy traffic between there and Weber, just a hint of a slowdown through there. But the rest of the interstates through the construction zones like 270 at Ladue and 70 out east of Warrenton, everything out that way is rolling nicely. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg says partly sunny, not so cold this afternoon, a high of 38, cloudy, low 29 tonight. Tomorrow, a bit of snow in the morning, but little or no accumulation, says Joe, and then cloudy and cold in the afternoon with a high of 33. We have clouds and 24 degrees right now at the Arch. St. Louis University basketball. They are the talk of the town right now. The Billikens are 21-1, 9-0 in the A-10. They blasted Dayton on Friday night at Chaffetz Arena in front of a sold-out crowd. It cost about $200 just to get a ticket on the secondary market to get in the building. 102-71, Billikens beat the Flyers. And after the game, the on-campus bar Humphreys, right there in Midtown. Who was behind the bar serving drinks and maybe having a few himself? Josh Schertz, the head coach of SLU, talked about it on Sports on a Sunday morning.
Yeah, no, it was fun. I mean, it was just we went. It was kind of a spur of the moment idea, but in the locker room with the coaches, I was like, we need to do something for the for the students. They were so good. They created such a great atmosphere, and they were awesome against GW as well. So it was such a big week for us. And it's a team, and I want to do something to reward them. So I didn't necessarily know I knew I was going to go over and buy a round. I didn't know I was going to be bartending. Usually, but I managed to do both. So I did some bartending, and I spent about an hour over there, with the fans, and it was great just to see everybody, see how excited they are about, SLU basketball, and again, it's always about. When you're at a place, it's you need to connect the program, the community, and the community to the program, and you do that by being accessible. You do that by treating people the right way. You do it by recruiting guys that people can really rally around and feel good about cheering for, and that's part of what when we came here, we wanted to do was in our it wasn't that way before, but we wanted to connect our program to the community, and that's a two-way street, and certainly you're seeing the bonds being built.
Last thing, and Josh Schertz has been with us, and we really appreciate it. You got Davidson coming on Tuesday, and as well as I do that now everybody's talking about SLU. I mean, the nation can't get enough of SLU. They're going to talk about your team. They're going to talk about you, and it'll be, I guess, your job and your staff's to calm that outside noise as much as possible and concentrate on this Davidson team.
Yeah, it's a part of seasons. Seasons are noisy, regardless. And if you're bad, they're noisy because you're getting a lot of criticism. If you're good, they're noisy because you're getting a lot of praise. And that's just a part of the deal. And it goes back to, we always talk about, internal standards over external conversation, right? Our internal standards, the stuff that we talk about, I think there's a big difference in having a winning culture and a culture where you can win. I've said that before, winning culture, you're a weather vane for results. You're up and down based on how you're doing, and everything is dependent on winning and losing. And when you have a culture where you can win, you got programmatical, principles, values, standards, bedrocks that hopefully can keep you grounded, through the successes and failures, of a season, because you experience both. You experience adversity, you experience big highs, you experience lows, and hopefully for us, we have a culture where you can win, and we'll lean into those principles, lean into those values. We talk a lot about circumstances in a season are always changing. Narratives and storylines are always changing. but the solutions never change, and the standards should never change. And so we'll lead into those things, and hopefully, we know how good Davidson is. We know the environment that we'll be stepping into. We understand the privilege it is to get everybody's best shot and to have to raise our level each and every night to meet the challenges ahead. As I told our guys, that's an accelerant for our own improvement. That's going to make us a better team because we're going to have to find our best punch every night to match this. So we're excited about it. Should be a great game, national TV, great opportunity for our guys. We reset to 0 today and get to work.
That is Josh Schertz, the head coach of the Billikens. I asked Jerry Palm, the bracketologist, about the Billikens' chances to be an at-large. He's not so sure based on their strength of schedule. They have to continue to win. Right, so you're saying that everything looks great right now, and boy, did they receive some buzz on Friday night. I mean, everybody flipped quickly. I don't see how they're not an at-large team. Like, immediately got pushed into that grouping. What you're saying is pump the brakes a little bit, because if they were to lose a game that they shouldn't, that could hurt them.
Yeah, and that's almost all of them that are left are games that they shouldn't. At George Mason is not an easy game. Maybe at Rhode Island, VCU is always good, and that's actually their best win was the win at VCU and Santa Clara also. It doesn't take much because of the games that they have left for one negative thing to be a significantly negative thing.
It's 6:27. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
At Gray Bar, we know your time is money. That's why our services go beyond parts and products. With kitting, pre-assembly, wire carts, and Gray Bar smart reels that keep you moving. We stage materials and manage logistics so you can spend less time sorting and more time installing. And with locations nationwide, we deliver when and where you need it, working to make your job easier every step of the way. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
Wait, Corey from Air Comfort Service? What are you doing in my basement?
Standing behind our work.
It's 9 p.m.
At Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation, we take pride in our work. If you need heating service, no matter the time of day or night, we're here to help with 24/7 emergency service.
So you're just going to stand behind my furnace?
Yeah, pretty much.
Can you hand me those paper towels then?
Absolutely. For heating service or HVAC maintenance, visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. The big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55, but unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details. This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Being first in line can be very important to homeowners. First in line for the plumber, first in line for the HVAC guy, first at Banner Construction. It's Banner Construction's winter home event, and you can be the first in line this spring and save before the annual price increases. Banner Construction is a James Hardie and Pella replacement windows specialist, and now is the best time to schedule a free in-home consultation with no obligation. Call 314-569-1050 or check them out on the web at bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Who's been talking about St. Louis sports since 1985? Bernie Miklasz.
The most important thing you can have in football is a great quarterback. And yeah, the head coach benefits.
But Bill Belichick also drafted Tom Brady, and he chose Tom Brady as his starter over Drew Bledsoe when Drew Bledsoe was still pretty good. And it all comes from a place where people just can't stand Bill Belichick.
Bernie Miklasz. Hear what he has to say on the voice of the St. Louis Cardinals. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:30. This is Total Information AM. It's mostly cloudy, 24 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. This just in. Punxsutawney Phil saw his shadow at 7 degrees and mostly sunny in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. That means the prediction is 6 more weeks of winter.
Stupid rodent.
Roger Brand, Overhead Door Company, St. Louis Traffic Center.
I don't remember what the name of our groundhog is. I guess we'll get a prediction from him a little later today, a little more localized one. So maybe we'll get better news later. If the highways are is where you're headed right now, you got some pretty good news. I mean, not much to be concerned about out there. Northbound 55, a little slow between Bayless and Weber. Northbound 270 from 55 headed up to Gravois past 44 in the work zone at Ladue. Everything looks good out west. 70 coming in from Warrenton's fine. Southbound 61, still no delays down onto 64 or 70. They cleared that stall on 370 near 94, so that's no longer an issue. We had one on the ramp from 55 to 44 downtown. That one was on the shoulder, and again, I'm not seeing delays, and folks coming in from the Illinois side still have a pretty easy go with light traffic running through there. It looks like they got the debris picked up as well on northbound Our City Expressway 141 just before you get to Highway 70. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Cloudy to partly sunny today with a high of 38 degrees. And then tomorrow, a high of 33. We could start out tomorrow with a little bit of snow. We're not talking about any accumulation, though. Right now, it is mostly cloudy and 24.
It's 6:31. An officer-involved shooting overnight leaves one person dead. St. Louis County Police Chief Kenneth Gregory told our news partners at Fox 2 some of his officers fired at a man overnight after he pulled a gun on them.
Can't say enough about the hard work and bravery of the officers that were involved in this incident. Unfortunately, things like this happen in this line of work.
Gregory says no officers were injured. The shooting took place in the city of St. Louis after a car chase, so city police will be handling the investigation.
St. Louis police are investigating another death at the city jail. 32-year-old Demetria McDial was found unresponsive in her cell Saturday afternoon. Medics tried to revive her. She was taken to a hospital but pronounced dead just after 6 p.m.
Nearly 24 inmates have died at the City Justice Center since 2020. Mayor Kara Spencer says her office shares the community's concerns over lives lost at the jail, and she supports a full investigation into McDial's death.
It is now 6:32. Missouri's junior senator Eric Schmidt telling Fox News he wants to be clear when it comes to immigration enforcement. Republicans are not going to do anything that inhibits law enforcement to execute the laws Congress has voted on.
And the deportations the American people voted on in November of 2024. President Trump ran on this issue. It wasn't a footnote, wasn't a side note. This was a central plank of his campaign. The American people deserve that.
Schmidt says this didn't start recently in Minneapolis or even when President Trump took office last January.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts. michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Money Minute is next.
Dreaming of college but worried about the cost? The Together Foundation is here to help. The Together Foundation is awarding 5 $1,500 scholarships to St. Louis area students who are ready to take the next step toward their future. Applying is simple, but time is limited, as applications will be accepted through March 31st. Learn more or apply at togethercu.org/scholarship. That's togethercu.org/scholarship. This community message has been brought to you by Together Credit Union.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It is now 6:34 and time for your Money Minute. It is sponsored by Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Disney is close to picking a new leader. Sources tell us the board is focusing on theme parks division chair Josh D'Amaro. He's led the unit that delivers most of Disney's profits. If approved, he'll succeed longtime CEO Bob Iger. DeMauro joined Disney in 1998 after previously working for Gillette. By the way, Disney is expected to report its quarterly earnings this morning. Maybe that might change the direction of the market. Stock futures are dropping this morning, driven by losses in tech shares. Investors are worried whether the massive spending on artificial intelligence will pay off. S&P futures are down 40 points, Dow futures falling 125. And job cuts at Peloton, the fitness technology company, is said to have slashed about 11% of its workforce in a cost-cutting move. Peloton has been stuck in a long sales slump since the pandemic ended. Peloton joining a slew of other tech companies that have recently made cuts. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could it be lower testosterone?
Lower T.
Happens to most guys after 40. I was in the same boat until I started using Nugenix Total T2.
Total T2, the new one I've seen on TV.
Yep, it's the next generation testosterone booster for both free and total testosterone. It's packed with even more man-boosting power, sending nitric oxide levels skyrocketing in just 3 hours.
It actually works?
I feel like I'm in my 20s again. I've got more energy, better results in the gym, and things are even better in the bedroom. Send them a text and get a complimentary bottle.
Text now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the #1 testosterone brand at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, absolutely free. Text AREA to 369369. AREA to 369369. AREA to 369369.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part, they accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take DayQuil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the DayQuil.
Undo your flu symptoms with DayQuil Intense Flu. DayQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
DayQuil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hey, St. Louis City SC fans, mark your calendars now. The Boys in Red return to Energizer Park to kick off Season 4 Saturday, February 21st. And you could be there for the dawn of a new golden era of St. Louis soccer. Go to stlcitysc.com/tickets and reserve your seat now for the MLS home opener versus Charlotte FC. Limited quantities remain. See you soon, St. Louis.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Rush Hour Sports, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here.
Bernie Miklasz joins Rush Hour Sports tonight at 5 on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
All right, it's 6:38. Here it is, the Groundhog Day announcement from Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, just moments ago.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. Now on this February 2nd, Punxsutawney Phil, the seer of seers, prognosticator of all prognosticators, was awakened from his wintry nap at dawn on Gobbler's Knob. Phil looked to the skies and then, speaking in groundhogese, directed President Dunkel to the proper scroll, which reads, "It's my great honor to answer your annual call. So I rise again this morning to greet you all. But today I wake thinking of numbers and time. America turns 250 and I'm at least 139. Let's celebrate all, young, old, babies, or millennial, and kick off America's semi-quincentennial. We look to the future and not just the past. So I suppose this party could use a forecast. It is my job this February 2 to look to the skies and report back to you that there is a shadow here on my ground. 6 more weeks of winter abound.
Woohoo!
Oh, they love it.
Oh,
They love it.
they're all a little drunk.
How many cocktails have been passed around? The old gobbler's knob, he comes down and says, hear ye, 6 more weeks.
Yeah, Phil looked a little sleepy this morning, I gotta say. Usually he seems feistier.
Maybe he was up late.
Maybe he was.
Hanging out
up
with the
late
other
looking at the
groundhogs.
weather charts and stuff, Let's check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, that's what we need. 6 more weeks of winter. It's already cold enough, and the snow hasn't gone away for how many? 2 weeks now. I guess we've still had it on the ground. This traffic reports the service of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. You get a little busier on the highways, but it's not bad. Northbound 55, you got to slow down from Bayless up through, I don't know, about Loughborough, it looks like, and then it sorts itself out. They had a report of a crash southbound of 55 near Lindbergh. I don't see anything going on there. A crash reported Tess on Ferry at 270. Again, I'm not seeing anything aside from backups on the ramp there, so there may be a partial blockage on the ramp. I just can't see it right now, but just brief delays there. North 270 itself, just a little busy in a couple of spots coming up through Doherty Ferry, Manchester, and at 64. It really doesn't look that bad. There is a little bit of a jam right now eastbound on 70 at Cave Springs. I reported debris in the last report there. It actually turned out to be a couch. It's a little bit more than debris, but they dragged it off to now I guess there's a rest area on the side of the highway. They dragged it off to the shoulder, but there is a backup 370 to Cave Springs, but lanes are now open there. Midwest winters take a real toll on your garage door. Let my friends at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis come out and perform their 26-point tune-up on your garage door and opener. It's just one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. It looks like this could be a nice day to shovel some of that extra snow away. It's going to melt a little bit, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah, because the clouds that we have now, Tom, will give way to some sunshine, and we'll get up to 38. And then tonight will be cloudy down to 29. There may be a touch of snow, or I could even see a little bit of freezing drizzle in places tomorrow morning. I don't think it's much, but just be watchful of slick spots tomorrow morning. That goes away in the afternoon, the high 33. Clouds will give way to some sunshine Wednesday. It's the coldest day of the week with highs in the upper 20s. Then the cold eases on Thursday with some sunshine. We get to 42, probably mid-40s under partly sunny skies Friday. I think it's a little colder this week. And a sneak peek at next week, though, I could see a day or two where we get into the 50s, believe it or not. That's next week. Right now, it's 30 at St. Peter's, 30 in Florissant, cloudy, 29 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, thanks, Joe. I heard 50s and my ears perked up.
I got excited about that. Let's go. All right.
It is 6:42, and this is a snow day in many places throughout the southeastern U.S. after a weekend snowstorm.
The snow has brought out the inner kid in Danny Adams, who is sledding in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Why would you want to sit inside when you can be out enjoying all of this?
But driving today could be tough. WBTV meteorologist Al Conklin.
The roads don't look too bad in town, but I guarantee you those back roads and certainly in the subdivisions, they are iced over.
Charlotte started the day in the low double digits. Many outlying areas are in single numbers. Many schools are closed, and utilities as far south as Florida have asked consumers to conserve energy because of super cold temperatures. Peter King, CBS News.
Millions of Americans are now facing higher health insurance bills after enhanced Affordable Care Act subsidies expired. New reporting shows many families are seeing sharp premium increases and the return of the so-called subsidy cliff. Renuka Ryasam from KFF Health News breaks down what this means for consumers.
Congress ended the pandemic-era subsidies that have been in place since 2021, and those ended on December 31st. The GOP-led Congress didn't extend them or renew them. And on top of that, medical costs have grown a lot just on their own. And this is, insurance companies bear the brunt of the blame for that. But researchers say that's because of things like high hospital costs or the popularity of pricey GLP-1 drugs like Ozempic.
On music's biggest night, plenty of awards, some history to go around, and a Cher stumble, too.
Some history for both Kendrick Lamar and Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny!
He got the Grammy for Album of the Year for Debí Tiras Más Fotos, the first Spanish-language album ever to win in that category.
Kendrick Lamar!
Lamar's Grammy moment brings us to Cher's moment.
Oh, the Grammy goes
to Luther Vandross.
Mistakenly naming Luther Vandross instead of Lamar's Luther for Record of the Year. Either way, he's now the most awarded rapper in Grammy history. Matt Wolf, CBS News.
All right. It's 6:45. Bad Bunny's going to perform at the Super Bowl, by the way, if you didn't remember that. He is the halftime performance. Super Bowl Sunday coming up this Sunday in Santa Clara, California. That is the home of the San Francisco 49ers. And the Seahawks are the favorite in that contest. They'll be taking on the Patriots and currently listed as a 4.5-point favorite. We will follow that for you all week long with coverage from Santa Clara. In the meantime, we've been watching college basketball pretty closely, and the Illini look like the real deal. They went into Lincoln, Nebraska yesterday, and they beat the Cornhuskers, beat them good. 78-69 was the final in that one. And a win for the Illini puts them in a first-place tie with Michigan atop the Big Ten. Keaton Wagler was the high scorer in that one, 28 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals for Wagler. He was 4 of 9 from three-point range, 10 of 12 from the free throw line. He pulled down a couple of offensive rebounds among those 5 boards. A very nice performance again for the freshman guard for Illinois as they beat Nebraska, the team that beat them last. Illinois has not lost a basketball game since December. That was on December 13th when they lost at home to Nebraska. After that, they demolished Missouri in the bragging rights game and then went on a streak that they still enjoy today. SLU is 21-1. They're undefeated in the A-10. They have another game tomorrow, this one on the road at Davidson. Be careful of Davidson. They beat George Washington, the team that SLU had some struggles with on Tuesday, but were able to bounce back from a 15-point deficit and win that game. Then they annihilated Dayton on Friday night at Chaffetz Arena, 102-71. They are the buzz of college basketball right now. The St. Louis Billikens, they're ranked 21st in the country. At last check, they were 16 in the net. We'll see what it looks like when it comes out today. And we also will be watching closely to see what the brackets look like. This is when bracketology starts to come out a little bit more, and we'll hear from Jerry Palm, who was joining me on Sports on a Sunday Morning yesterday. He questioned their at-large possibilities if they were to slip up here in the Atlantic 10 schedule, but we shall see. As for the Cardinals, they're a week away from opening spring training, and it's looking more and more like they're going to open with Brendan Donovan on their roster. It doesn't appear there's any rush to trade the All-Star, although it's still possible. Here's how Chaim Bloom, the president of baseball operations, feels about it.
Still feel exactly that way. I don't want this to be something that's a day-to-day issue hanging over us in the spring. So, if there is something that is put to us that makes sense for us to do, as difficult as that will be emotionally, I'd like for that to happen before camp opens. I don't believe in setting any official deadlines here. And obviously we never turn our phone off, but our mindset will be that, we'd like to get, that clarity for us, for Brendan, sooner rather than later. And then if nothing happens by the time camp opens, we're just going to be in a mindset of having our heads down and preparing for the season. Obviously looking in other ways to improve our roster, but not really thinking that that's going to be a factor at that time. Obviously, there's still time between now and then, but, that's our mindset. I just think if we want to accomplish what we do with spring training, which is such an important tone setter for the season, you'd like to have the group's focus in the right place.
That's Chaim Bloom from KMOX's Sports on a Sunday Morning. Carlos Alcaraz won the Australian Open. He beat Novak Djokovic in 4 sets. He is the youngest ever to win the career slam at the age of 22. And Justin Rose is the first wire-to-wire winner at Torrey Pines in 71 years. He finished with a 70 to break the tournament scoring record last set by Tiger Woods in 1999. Won the Farmers Insurance Open 23 under par. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals and Billikens, 104.1 FM KMOX.
How many of you think taxes will go up in the future? And if they do, who will get hit the hardest? Maybe it's you, headed for retirement. You've been saving in that 401k or IRA, and that money has never been taxed. And Uncle Sam is looking at that account like it's a big, juicy steak. What can you do about it? Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes in Retirement Seminar, Thursday, February 19th or Tuesday, February 24th. They believe a financial plan is not a retirement plan without a tax plan. Fund your retirement, not Uncle Sam's. Reserve your spot today by calling 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
Soulard is going to the dogs. Make sure to bring your four-legged friend to the streets of Soulard for the 33rd annual Purina Pet Parade, the world's largest costume pet parade. It all starts at 12th and Allen, Sunday, February 8th at 1 p.m. And KMOX's own Dave Glover will be leading the pack as the parade's Grand Marshal. Sign up today to march in the parade with your dog. The event supports Open Door Animal Sanctuary. For more details, PurinaPetParade.com. Don't miss this annual St. Louis Mardi Gras tradition, sponsored by Purina.
St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history. From moment to memory.
President George Bush is on his way to St. Louis right now.
Among those voices, Ron Jacober.
Welcome back to the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Now, the news. At 1, the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:51. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
No, a little volume out there and a few stalls. They keep popping up, but they keep getting them moved over to the shoulder pretty quickly. Southbound 55 at Arsenal and at Rivas, we had a couple of stalls. 64 westbound at Boone's Crossing. Reported one recently, and eastbound 270 at Lilac, the latest ones. But again, they all seem to be over the shoulder and out of harm's way. Just some volume right now on northbound 55. It's a little slow. Let's call it north of Bayless up through Holly Hills. Northbound 270. Big Bend up to Manchester, a couple of slow spots, and a little busy at 64. Eastbound Highway 70, a little slow between A and Lake St. Louis Boulevard and right at T.R. Hughes. The delays we had through Cave Springs since they cleared the debris have dissipated. Eastbound 64, east of Prospect to Lake St. Louis Boulevard. There's a little bit of volume there. Downtown, a little bit of a slowdown as well. A couple of spots west of 3rd Street to the Poplar on westbound 64. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
But my lips are turning blue. Are they fast?
My darling, Jerry Kelly can install a new furnace tomorrow, no matter what day tomorrow is, even if we call late at night.
You are my hero.
Fast and they're good and they got it going on. JerryKelly.com.
High of 38 today with a partly sunny sky, low 29 tonight. Tomorrow morning, little or no accumulation, but we'll see a little bit of snow and then a high of 33. It's 26 right now.
Time now for Jill on Money with CBS's Jill Schlesinger here at 6:53. And every time I hear the name Kevin Warsh, it kind of makes me giggle because that's, of course, how some people in the Midwest say wash. I don't know if you know.
Yeah, and it's hard for people like us to have to say this over and over again.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Well, he has been named as the new Fed chair to replace Jerome Powell. What should we know or care about Kevin Warsh?
So listen, we have to care because even though you hear the words Federal Reserve and your eyes glaze over, you know what? The things that the Federal Reserve does, all those actions they take, they impact all of us. Remember, they're using interest rates to kind of foster growth in the economy or control inflation. Those are two huge things for all of us. They are overseeing the nation's largest banks and financial institutions. That impacts us. And, at the end of the day, I think in a weird way, what the Fed does or doesn't do and what's going on in the economy, we all care deeply about that. It's just that, they talk in weird ways and they can be a little bit annoying to listen to. So I think that what you need to know about Warsh is that he's a Fed insider. He served as a Fed governor from 2006 through 2011. Interesting. That's right in the middle of the financial crisis, right? And he actually quit the Fed midway through his term because he had a disagreement with the other Fed governors. At that time, he thought interest rates should be higher, not lower. And so that's a big turn because now he's arguing that interest rates are too high and they should be lower. And so we're going to see how this all comes to play. By the way, he was a contender for Fed chair in 2017. Trump at that time named Powell instead. So he lost the job to Powell.
We have a Federal Reserve Bank here in St. Louis. On your blog, JillOnMoney.com, you asked the question, why should you care about the Fed? You have a nice little breakdown here about the Fed.
First of all, I just want to say I love the St. Louis Fed because they have the greatest data in the world. So I'm just going to hats off to the St. Louis Fed. Fantastic. You know, as I said, their actions impact everything from a credit card interest rate to going to get a new auto loan to a personal or business loan or the interest on your savings accounts. And what I think people always think with like sort of when they say to the Fed, oh, interest rates should always be low. But, you know, sometimes the Fed has to be the doctor who administers the bitter medicine. What do I mean by that? It would be nice if interest rates always stayed at zero, right? But when you do that, what happens is it can foster inflation. So sometimes the Fed's got to come in and say like, oh, okay, this is like nasty medicine. We're going to have to increase interest rates because we have inflation, or we have to increase interest rates because the economy is growing too quickly. And we want the Fed to remain independent because they have to have the ability to administer that bitter medicine, even when all of us would just prefer everything to be zero all the time.
JillOnMoney.com /blog if you want to read more. Thanks so much for the time and have a great week, Jill.
Take care.
It's 6:56.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
Forever when I think about this day, I think of Red Schoendienst. He was born on this date in 1923. I always thought it was cool that number 2, Red Schoendienst, was born on 2/2. It's pretty awesome. He passed away in 2018. We miss him at the age of 95. John Tudor, Cardinals Hall of Famer, is 72 today.
The birthday shout out sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Happy birthday wishes going out to Sheila Catlin from the Life Group, Lee Bonifield, Adam Crane, also Ayako Spring from your St. Louis family, and baby Georgie turns 1 and has been one tough cookie this past year, says Karen.
This is the best birthday ever.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler for the FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of KMOX. And this week is last call for football. FanDuel's giving you a daily profit boost every single day leading up to the big game. So today's 30% profit boost is on passing yards over, under, and the alternate passing yards. So as an example, if you think Drake May and his creaky shoulder will throw for less than 222.5 passing yards, you can get on that side. If you think more, you can go on that side. But all you have to do overall is opt in each day and place an eligible bet to use that day's profit boost. So whether you're locking in early lines, riding your favorite props, or taking one last swing before the final whistle, FanDuel's giving everyone something extra to cheer for during football's final week. So play your game with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Must be 21 or older and present in Missouri. Opt-in is required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-390-1164. 800-390-1164. 800-390-1164.
Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things are a little busier out there. We have a report of a crash eastbound 64 east of Clarkson in a traffic lane, so be careful if you're headed through there. Right now, we have heavy traffic on northbound 55 Bayless, headed up through Virginia. They cleared that stall southbound 55 at Revis. If you're on eastbound 70, it looks good coming through Cave Springs, but out around Lake St. Louis Boulevard, it's a little busy there. And if you're on northbound 55 Bayless up the road, repair slow. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. A little boy and his father are back home almost 2 weeks after they were detained by federal agents in their driveway near Minneapolis. CBS's Ian Lee is there.
Cell phone video posted to social media by Democratic Representative Joaquin Castro shows 5-year-old Liam Ramos and his father walking out of an ICE family detention center in southern Texas. On Sunday, they were flown back to Minnesota and returned home to Columbia Heights, a northern suburb of Minneapolis.
The Department of Homeland Security says it did not target or arrest Liam. They say his father wanted him to remain with him after he was detained. Kentucky's Republican Senator Rand Paul weighed in on the federal immigration operation on CBS's 60 Minutes.
I'm not going to say it's all on one side. I mean, Minneapolis, the mayor of Minneapolis has said explicitly he will not cooperate. That is a significant part of the problem.
Another brutal snowstorm has slammed states along the southeast coast. Some areas of North Carolina got more than a foot. Governor Josh Stein.
This weekend, we saw more than 1,000 collisions, including 2 fatalities, and a major traffic jam involving more than 100 vehicles on I-85.
Correspondent Dave Malkoff is in Charlotte.
Luckily, people are staying off the roads for the most part. It is going to take weeks to clean all this up, and there are still people in places like Mississippi and Tennessee who are without power. We're talking tens of thousands of people, and it is cold.
12 degrees there right now. Don't take off your snow boots yet. The country's most famous groundhog made his annual appearance in Pennsylvania last hour.
Punxsutawney Phil couldn't have been thrilled by his early and loud wake-up call at Gobbler's Knob. Hundreds brave temperatures in the low single digits for the big moment.
That there is a shadow here on my ground. 6 more weeks of winter abound.
And the crowd, no doubt, feeling that 6 weeks right now will feel like 6 years. Peter King, CBS News.
He won top prize at the Grammy Awards. Album of the Year winner Bad Bunny, who hails from Puerto Rico, used his platform to knock Trump administration immigration policy.
We're not savage. We're not animals. We're not aliens. We are humans, and we are Americans.
Post Malone led a Grammys tribute to the late Ozzy Osbourne.
Gathered in MSA.
Dow futures down 24, S&P futures off 23. This is CBS News.
Take control of your financial life. Follow and listen to Money Watch with Jill Schlesinger on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
It is 7:04. We have mostly cloudy skies. It's 24 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. In the news this morning, St. Louis City Police are investigating after a St. Louis County officer shot and killed a man who pulled a gun on them late Sunday night. The shooting happened in the city limits after a traffic chase. County Police Chief Kenneth Gregory spoke with Fox 2 near the scene.
Unfortunately, there was a loss of life in this event. Thankfully, our officers were doing okay. They were all fine. So again, I just want to, thank them for the hard work that they did.
The name of the deceased has not been released.
There's been another death at the city jail downtown. It happened over the weekend.
St. Louis police say they've launched a thorough investigation into what happened to 32-year-old Demetria McDial Saturday afternoon. She was found alone and unresponsive inside her cell. Medics tried to resuscitate her, but they couldn't. She was pronounced dead at the hospital just after 6 p.m. The city issued a statement saying it recognizes the profound seriousness of any death occurring at the Justice Center. This brings the total number to nearly 24 since 2020. It's the second death since Nate Hayward took over as jail commissioner last September. Relatives of McDial tell Fox 2 she complained of chest pain earlier in the day, but nothing was done about it. Scott Jagal, KMOX News.
The police department's Force Investigations Unit is responsible for investigating all in-custody deaths that occur within the city of St. Louis.
A winery in Gasconade County is a total loss after going up in flames. Early Sunday morning, more than a dozen fire departments responded to the Wenwood Winery located on Highway K between Herman and Owensville. No one was at the winery at the time. The state fire marshal is investigating the cause.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker says by celebrating Black History this month, you honor the past and inform the future.
In our schools and museums, on our street signs and monuments, and with our continued advocacy for Black communities throughout our state.
Pritzker says Black History Month is a time to commemorate the lives of Black Americans whose contributions to our nation's greatness in art, culture, medicine, innovation, and other professional endeavors have shaped our everyday lives.
From the business desk, fried chicken lovers.
Who's got the sauce?
Zaxby's. Get ready for a new option coming to the St. Louis. Have you had Zaxby's?
No.
Oh, it's
but
so
there's
good.
so many chicken places now. Chicken's the thing.
Oh, Zaxby's. I remember it in Columbia, but here's what they're going to do. They're coming to the St. Louis area. They're Georgia-based. They've officially signed a deal to open several new restaurants here. Several new restaurants. 7 locations split between St. Louis and Columbia markets are planned. Currently, the closest Zaxby's would be on the other side of the state in Kansas City and Springfield. I do remember one in Columbia for a while there. The fast casual spot is famous for its crispy chicken tenders. They are very good. I will tell you, thick cut toast, 12 signature sauces. But you are right.
Sounds like Raising Cane's.
Yeah, it is very much like Raising Cane's. Let's do it. I think we should do a side-by-side comparison.
I would be open to that.
As a huge fan of Cane's, and so are my kids, I think I could entice them to enjoy some Zaxby's. But we have a lot of chicken options.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
All right. Well, we also give you the option of traffic and weather every 10 minutes because you need to know what the traffic's going to be so you don't get stuck somewhere. We'll have the very latest for you coming up at 7:07.
Hey, Happy New Year, big boy. Hey, what's up, Izzy? Also known as the Kool-Aid Man. You got any New Year's resolutions?
I got one, Eddie. I've promised myself to spend more time on that toasty, warm, huge, heated outdoor patio of yours. It's nothing like having your coat off, drinking the coldest beer in town with hundreds of your family, friends.
Man, it is a toasted patio, and that's a great resolution. And, thanks for not mentioning things like weight loss and health kick. And those would be hard in Fast Eddie's. It'd be hard to lose any kind of weight or take away from anything when you got the 5-pound Fat Eddie burger, the hot chick on a stick, that big Elwood on a stick, and those succulent peel-and-eat shrimp.
Yeah, I am not losing any weight hanging around your place. I learned it's a lot easier just to make those resolutions simple and fun, buddy.
Man, and that's easy. You're right. That's a great resolution. So make your resolution fun. And head on over to Fast Eddie's Bon Air. You know where to go across that big, beautiful Clark Bridge and come into Alton, Illinois. So like Mr. Shannon always said, if you're 21 and in the mood, we'll see you at Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
Kool-Aid Man.
Last year, I had back pain radiating down my right leg. The pain was so bad, I was willing to cut my leg off to stop the pain. I could barely walk and had to stoop over when I did just to take pressure off the spine. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. In my professional career, I've represented thousands of people who've had herniated discs and issues with their neck and back, but never fully appreciated what they were going through until it was my turn. It's like trying to describe colors to a blind person who's never had sight. All I can tell you is it hurt like hell, but worse. My daily walk was gone, and that bothered me a great deal. Then I thought of all of you and how much more devastating this type of injury could be for you. My life stopped. I now feel your pain. Just know at Morgan & Morgan, we got your back. I understand. Morgan means more.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 7:10. Let's check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's not looking bad for pretty much everybody right now. That'd be a pretty easy go out there. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, east of K and through TR Hughes, it's a little bit busy, but after that, it runs well in across the Blanchette Bridge. Eastbound 64 looks like we have a little heavy traffic crossing the Boone Bridge into the valley, but once you get there, you're good to go, and it runs great through Clarkson. We had a crash reported earlier near there, but that's cleared. Now, the new problem is it looks to me like it's a stall, mostly on the right shoulder, but they have the right lane blocked for safety reasons. Eastbound 64 right at 170 as you head up the hill to Hanley. So the right lane's blocked, 2 left lanes open. It's jammed at McKnight right now on eastbound 64. Westbound 64 looks good in the area. North 270 is clear right now. 55 to Ladue. Northbound 55, Festus up through Bayless is okay. Downtown, the Poplar thinned out. We had a little volume there. We do have a backup right now on northbound Route 3 from Jerome up toward Queenie. It looks like they just cleared a train that was crossing there, so that should get better in the next couple of minutes. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Let's check in with AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
KMOX AccuWeather, cloudy to partly sunny today and not so cold this afternoon with a high of 38. Cloudy tonight, low 29. Tomorrow, cloudy with a bit of snow in the morning with little or no accumulation, then remaining cloudy and cold in the afternoon, the high tomorrow 33. For Wednesday, clouds give way to increasing amounts of sunshine, but it'll stay cold, the high 29. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's 27 in Florissant, 26 in St. Peters. We have a cloudy sky, 25 downtown at the Arch.
A judge has tossed out ballot language for a statewide ballot measure that would bar state funding of private education. Missouri Court of Appeals Judge Douglas Thompson said Secretary of State Denny Hoskins' summary statement on the initiative petition was misleading. The petition would scale back the Mo Scholars program, barring state funding for the program that was designed to be funded by donations, but Governor Kehoe funneled $50 million to it in the latest state budget.
Hoskins wrote that it would eliminate programs that provide direct aid to students with special education needs, but there's a disability exception, so the judge called that insufficient and unfair. Attorney Dwayne Martin with Ed Counsel, who filed the petition, says state funding of private school vouchers is a threat to public education. He says statewide elected officials are slowly dismantling public schools, which are a fundamental right in the state constitution.
Missouri State Representative Tricia Bynes and other reps, as well as State Senator Nick Schroer, have reintroduced legislation aimed at ending Missouri's monopoly utility model. Burns tells KMOX her constituents are well informed and says SB 4 put the risk on the ratepayer and off of the investor.
There's another piece of that SB4, and that allowed the monopoly to look ahead and project prices rather than look at actual costs in the past.
This would only apply to the investors and electric utilities Ameren, Evergy, and Liberty. Abby Foster is Senior VP for Retail's Energy Advancement League.
There's quite a few states in a similar situation to Missouri where rates have increased significantly. They're facing load growth. They're facing retirements of existing assets. There's legislation like this that's been introduced in Virginia and in Indiana and West Virginia. So legislators are looking for solutions, but this is definitely something that's already a proven solution for other states.
Foster says there are 23 states that have some type of competition with the electric utility. In 14 of those states, the legislation is identical to Burns. So Foster says it's a fully competitive market, but the utilities do not get a guaranteed rate of return on building power plants.
Missouri State Treasurer is fighting for more cash to keep up with skyrocketing demand for the Mo Scholars program. Applications for the private school scholarships are up 140% this year. Treasurer Vivek Malik says the programs create healthy competition, but wants $50 million to sustain it, more than the governor's proposed $10 million increase.
We will still try to see if we can push that number a little more than what the governor has allocated. And hopefully if it goes to his desk with that elevated number, he will sign that. So we haven't just taken our back seats on that.
Malik says he will use his bully pulpit to solicit corporate donations directly if lawmakers aren't able to close the gap. Great win for the Fighting Illini yesterday. Illinois went into Lincoln, Nebraska with revenge on their mind. The Illini had taken a loss at the start of the Big Ten schedule to Nebraska in Champaign, and they haven't lost since. They're now 10-1 in the Big Ten after winning at Nebraska 78-69 yesterday. They're tied with Michigan atop the Big Ten standings, and a great game again for Keaton Wagler. The freshman guard had 28 points yesterday, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals as well, as the Illini won another game. SLU is on the road. They visit Davidson tomorrow. They will be flying out there today, and they are flying high right now with a record of 21-1 and unbeaten 9-0 in the Atlantic 10 Conference. But their star, Robbie Avila, has an illness. The center missed practice yesterday afternoon with an illness that, according to Stu Durando, who writes on Substack, has hit other players in recent weeks, in some cases keeping them out of games. They leave today, and Coach Josh Schertz suspected Avila would make the trip, writes Durando. However, he was mulling in his head the options if he's unable to play. Quoting Schertz as saying, Robbie's a bit different. There's a lot of plug-and-play guys. He's not one of them. That's why we've talked over the course of the year trying to get Jax Kerr and Cam Hudson in position where they can play minutes in case that happens. So maybe the young 6'11 forward Jax Kerr will get a look here. According to Durando, 5 players have missed games due to illness, although it's not known if all were the same ailment. As for the Billikens' chances for the NCAA tournament, we put that question to Jerry Palm of palmbrackets.com. Right, so you're saying that everything looks great right now, and boy, did they receive some buzz on Friday night. I mean, everybody flipped quickly, like, oh, I don't see how they're not an at-large team, like immediately got pushed into that grouping. What you're saying is pump the brakes a little bit, because if they were to lose a game that they shouldn't, that could hurt them?
Yeah, and that's almost all of them that are left are games that they shouldn't. At George Mason is not an easy game. Maybe at Rhode Island, VCU is always good, and that's actually their best win, was the win at VCU, and Santa Clara also. It doesn't take much because of the games that they have left for one negative thing to be a significantly negative thing.
He cites SLU's strength of schedule, which he says is the weakest of the at-large possibilities. But you get an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament if you win the Atlantic 10 tournament. Right now, SLU is the number 1 seed going into the month of February. Plenty of coverage of Billiken basketball. We will have the coaches show tonight with SLU women's coach Rebecca Tillett at 6 o'clock. And then tomorrow, the Billikens at Davidson right here on KMOX. The Blues are at Nashville. They take on the Predators tonight at 7 o'clock. The Cincinnati Reds have signed Eugenio Suarez. He's going to be their DH. He's been a third baseman for much of his career. Power hitter gets a 1-year deal worth $15 million. Carlos Alcaraz wins the Australian Open, defeating Novak Djokovic in 4 sets. He's the youngest ever to win the career slam, the age of 22. Justin Rose goes wire to wire to win the Farmers Insurance Open at Torrey Pines, first to do that in 71 years, be the leader all the way through. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals and Billikens, 104.1 FM KMOX.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask,
What's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
The Missouri Athletic Club never lets you down. It's such a great place. I mean, I popped in there for lunch on Friday. My off days are Friday. So I take Audrey to school, I run a few errands, maybe do some stuff around the house. And at this moment, I had an errand to run in Des Peres. And I thought, I'm going to head over to 1903. Sit at the bar and have a nice lunch and watch a little bit of that tournament at Torrey Pines. That's exactly what I did. They just changed the menu at 1903, changed up a few things. So I tried the new chicken Caesar salad. It's outstanding. A little cup of clam chowder to go with it. And I was on my way. Great day at the MAC. Just lunch there. Downtown, of course, is fantastic for food. They have incredible chefs there. And soon opening the MAC Clayton. That's even closer to my house. My goodness. 3 possibilities for us at the MAC. MAC-STL.org.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
7:20 and time for traffic and weather. Roger Brand is joining us from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they're still working with the stall, Debbie, that we have eastbound 64 at 170. Right lane still closed. The flatbeds there, it looks like the car's up on the truck, so they ought to be out of there in the next couple of minutes. If you're coming in on eastbound 64, there's a little slowdown, Clarkson midway into Timberlake, but there's a jam east of Clayton Morrison up to this stall. Like I said, right lane just past 170 as you head up the old Hanley. Only should be a few more minutes. Hopefully by the next report, this will have been cleared. Northbound 270, Tess on Ferry to the Sappington Road overpass, and 64 up to Ladue, a little busy. South 270 come down into the work zone from 364 to Ladue looks great. Northbound 55, there's just a little slowdown in the right lanes between Butler Hill and Madison. Then again, Bayless to Weber, all lanes are a little heavy, and back to seeing just a hint of a slowdown. Westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge, northbound Route 3 is cleared out, headed up to Queenie. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg says we're going to have a nicer day today, actually. Partly sunny and a high of 38. That's going to feel warm compared to what we've had recently. Cloudy tonight, low 29. Might see a bit of snow tomorrow morning, but little to no accumulation, says Joe. And then cloudy and cold in the afternoon tomorrow with a high of 33. He's peeking ahead of next week, thinking we might get into the 50s. I do see low 40s for Thursday and Friday. So that's very good. Groundhog, by the way, saw his shadow and says 6 more weeks of winter. It's cloudy and 25 downtown at the Arch.
Speaking of that groundhog, let's get more on Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania from earlier this morning.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. Now on this February 2nd, Punxsutawney Phil, the seer of seers, prognosticator of all prognosticators, was awakened from his wintry nap at dawn on Gobbler's Knob. Phil looked to the skies and then, speaking in groundhogese, directed President Dunkel to the proper scroll, which reads, "It's my great honor to answer your annual call. So I rise again this morning to greet you all. But today I wake thinking of numbers and time. America turns 250 and I'm at least 139. Let's celebrate all, young, old, babies, or millennial, and kick off America's semi-quincentennial. We look to the future and not just the past. So I suppose this party could use a forecast. It is my job this February 2 to look to the skies and report back to you that there is a shadow here on my ground. 6 more weeks of winter abound."
And the crowd goes wild in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. In this week's On the Road feature, CBS reporter Steve Hartman tells us about the world's oldest snowball.
As the snow piled up, so did the anticipation. Could it happen? Would school be canceled? Absolutely.
Yes!
This week, millions of kids in more than 24 states got at least one snow day, including my kids, who flipped and flopped all over themselves in jubilation. And not just because of the snow,
I caught it!
or even because of the day off, but because snow days are the ultimate American freebie.
The beauty of a snow day is that you're playing with house money, so you can spend it in any way you want, and you don't have to feel guilty about it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Hear, hear.
We can all relate. That's a great way to put it. But perhaps no one in America cherishes that feeling more than 64-year-old Jeff Seamus. When Jeff was 14, he got his first and only snow day.
San Francisco looked like a Christmas card after its biggest snowfall in 89 years.
It was February 1976. Jeff was living in the Bay Area, and he vividly remembers the snow and the snowman he built with his sister. He says it was a feeling so grand, he didn't want it to end.
You know, it started melting, and I was like panicking. And the only thing I could think of was I gotta preserve the moment. That was my only goal.
And that is why, 50 years later, if you look in his garage, in the back left corner of his freezer, you will find what is now widely considered to be the world's oldest snowball.
All right, here it is.
Now a family heirloom, carefully saved in a Skippy peanut butter jar.
You can't let a 50-year-old snowball melt. I'm gonna get some water.
Okay, wait, that's not it, is it?
No.
Bottom line, if you have yet to save your snowball for posterity, there's still plenty of heirloom out there. But don't wait too long.
It's the snow day.
Because the doldrums of spring
It's the snow day.
are now just 50 days away.
And you don't have to do your homework.
Steve Hartman, CBS News, at home.
Well, Bad Bunny won the show's top prize, Album of the Year, at last night's Grammy Awards. It's the first all-Spanish language album to win the big award. Kendrick Lamar also coming up big. He's now the most awarded rap artist ever. Here's CBS's Anthony Mason.
Oh, the Grammy goes to Luther Vandross!
Even though Cher confused the song name with the late R&B great, it was a joyous moment for Kendrick Lamar, earning Record of the Year for the second year in a row.
This is what music is about.
Wildflower.
And it was the third career Song of the Year win for Billie Eilish, who was among many artists donning Ice Out pins.
It's 7:27. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
If you're selling a home, please do yourself a favor and make sure that you find the right agent. And the right agent is someone who is going to sell your home quickly and for the most money, right? Because you need to sell this home and move on with your life. So definitely do your due diligence, interview some agents. Don't just go with your husband's work friend's brother-in-law or whatever. You know, sometimes that's how it works. Call Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria Lou will sell your home. She guarantees it. She's been helping thousands of families over her 23 years in the real estate industry, and your home may already be sold. Some agents sell maybe 4 or 5 homes a year. Gloria Lou sells a home just about every other day. How does she do it? Well, Gloria has the buyers, and you could be her next success story. So give her a call at 314-325-6888. Gloria Lou's upfront written guarantee. She'll even guarantee to sell your home at 100% of market value, or she'll pay you the difference. As always, Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date. 314-325-6888. Gloria Lou of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria has the buyers.com.
In times that feel uncertain, music can bring us together. Join the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra for Prokofiev and Child's Anthems of Resilience. Experience a shared journey of hope through Prokofiev's Symphony No. 5, Rena Esmail's Remember, and Billy Child's Diaspora, featuring saxophonist Stephen Banks. February 6th and 7th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
When it comes to lighting, Gray Bar goes beyond parts and products. We help contractors turn plans into smart designs, manage kitting and deliverables, and navigate local codes so you can stay on time and on budget. Smart, scalable, job site ready. That's not just lighting. That's like kicking your project into Gray Bar mode. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
I was ordering food from our usual place for the big meeting. My VP said, "Please, God, no."
For workplaces suffering with corporate catering deficiency, every day's a struggle.
The food was always meh and over budget. Before Easy Cater, I thought that was normal.
Easy Cater is designed to treat CCD with a huge variety of restaurants, help meet dietary needs, and stay on budget. Use daily. One platform lets you save time and thrive. Ask your web browser about Easy Cater or start an order at easycater.com.
At 7:30, cloudy, 25 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, and here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, good news on eastbound 64, folks. They cleared that stall just like I hope they would on eastbound 64 at McKnight. If you're coming in on 64, there's some slow traffic coming out of the valley, Chesterfield Parkway west to about Timberlake, and then you're bumper to bumper from Lindbergh in through the Intervale right now. It'll hopefully get a little bit better, but of course we're getting close to the peak rush hour time, so we'll see how quickly it thins out through that stretch. Westbound 64, Hampton to Big Bend, that's slower now. Northbound 270, north of 55 up through Tesson Ferry, we had a stall report on the shoulder, remains busy past Gravois, and then approaching Doherty Ferry all the way up to Ladue, slow. South 270 still looks good. Eastbound Highway 70, that looks great coming out of the Wentzville area all the way through 270, no issue. Northbound 55, you've got that backup from Bot Bayless up to River to Pear, and just a little slowdown westbound 64 as you approach the Poplar Street Bridge right now. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg says not so cold this afternoon, a high of 38 with a partly sunny sky. Tonight, cloudy, low 29. Tomorrow, a bit of snow in the morning, little or no accumulation. Cloudy and cold in the afternoon and a high of 33. It's 26 downtown right now.
St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer says she supports a full investigation into a weekend death at the city jail downtown. 32-year-old Demetria McDial was found unresponsive in her cell Saturday afternoon. Medics tried to revive her. She was transported to a hospital where she passed away. Our news partners at Fox 2 spoke with some of McDial's relatives.
She reaching out to everybody. This go all the way back to November 26th when I got the call saying she's sick as a dog and these people not helping me.
Nearly 24 inmates have died at the City Justice Center since 2020.
Missouri is taking the federal government to court over who gets counted in the U.S. Census.
Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway filed a lawsuit Friday against the Department of Commerce, demanding a recount of the 2020 census. She argues that counting illegal aliens violates the Constitution and dilutes the representation of American citizens. The lawsuit claims if only citizens and legal residents were counted, Missouri would have gained an extra seat in Congress and another electoral college vote. Hanaway is asking a federal judge to order the Census Bureau to remove illegal immigrants from the 2020 totals and bar them from being counted in 2030. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
The 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution stipulates how the census should work.
A jury is recommending the death penalty for a man convicted of killing a police officer. Last week, Kenneth Simpson was found guilty of the 2023 murder of Detective Sergeant Mason Griffith in Herman. There are currently 7 inmates on death row in Missouri, not including Simpson. His formal sentencing will be in June.
We'll check your Money Minute next. The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
Amy, yes. I have a real beef with bathroom doors in hotels. The stupid sliding door. No, give me a fully shut door, because the sliding door, you know what happens? There's always a gap.
There's a gap.
And so if you have a partner with you in the hotel room, there are sounds and smells and steam.
It puts a new meaning to the word butt crack.
The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays starting at 9 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from
we can be twinsies
to
how was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
It is 7:35, and right now it's time for your money report, which is sponsored by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Netflix is in the hot seat this week. Co-Chief Executive Officer Ted Sarandos will testify before the Senate's Antitrust Subcommittee tomorrow. He will take the stage to ease Washington's concerns about his company's $83 billion deal for Warner Brothers and HBO. Keep in mind, the Senate has no formal oversight of the deal, but the hearing is a sign of the intense focus this deal will face in the months ahead. Checking on the markets this morning, stock futures are dropping. All the spending that tech companies are doling out on artificial intelligence is facing lots of scrutiny from investors. NASDAQ futures are leading the losses this morning. And the head of the FAA says Boeing still needs to do more to win back the powers the aviation giant lost after a series of manufacturing lapses. Brian Bedford says they're working with the company to help get them where they need to go. Still, he adds that Boeing is making great progress. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
What matters to you matters to us. That's why Busey Bank takes the time to understand your goals and build solutions that fit your story. From everyday banking to long-term planning, our team is here to help you navigate every stage with care and expertise. We're more than a bank. We're your neighbor, your advisor, and your advocate. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Love Sale. Not only is your carpet one of the biggest investments in your home, but it's also the biggest air filter in your home. If the carpet hasn't been professionally cleaned, you're breathing unhealthy levels of nasty dirt, dander, bacteria, and germs that keep recirculating again and again. Lucky for you, Zero Res is going to spread the love to you and your home. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $119. Take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Book online at ZeroResSTL.com and say you want the KMOX special.
Hey, let's talk about our next trip. We're taking a trip, ladies and gentlemen, in September to beautiful Arizona. This is going to be a 5-day Arizona adventure, and I cannot wait because I've never been to the Grand Canyon or Sedona. I've always wanted to go. So whether you've been or not, this is going to be a wonderful opportunity. 5 days, incredible scenery. We'll be based in Flagstaff with cool mountain air and wide open skies. And September means it's not as hot or crowded. So we'll explore Sedona's Red Rock Country. We'll stand at the edge of the Grand Canyon. We'll cruise the crystal blue waters of Lake Powell. It's going to be phenomenal. Again, this is going to happen in September, but you've got to get in on the action now before spaces fill up. The number to call is 800-383-3131, or you can right now go to travelwithdebbie.net. Travelwithdebbie.net to get all of the details and get on board for our 5-day Arizona adventure. Travelwithdebbie.net.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
St. Louis has a voice.
This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history.
The St. Louis Blues are the Stanley Cup champions.
From moment to memory.
Now there is only one Berlin.
Among those voices, Wendy Weiss.
We'll have more on the troop deployment to Bosnia.
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Tuesday night, it's men's Billikens basketball action as they face Davidson. Pre-game 7:45, tip at 8 on your home for Billikens basketball. KMOX.
It's 7:39, an update on the latest efforts in Congress to avoid a government shutdown.
House Speaker Mike Johnson tells Fox News Sunday it'll be a few days before a government funding package comes up for a vote as Republicans and Democrats debate reining in President Donald Trump's immigration enforcement operations.
The president is leading this. It's his play call to do it this way. He has already conceded that he wants to turn down the volume, so to speak, and make sure this is done in an appropriate way. What a great step it was to put Tom Homan in charge of the situation in Minneapolis and Minnesota. He has 40 years experience. He's brought a steady hand to the wheel.
Trump struck a deal with the Senate last week to separate out funding for the Department of Homeland Security from a broader government funding package, following public outrage from 2 shooting deaths in Minneapolis during ICE protests. The Senate measure would fund DHS only for 2 weeks, which sets up a deadline for Congress to debate and vote on new ICE restrictions. Donna Warder, Washington.
7:40, time to check in with Roger Brand. He's in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, peak rush hour time, Debbie, it's not terrible, but it is busy. This traffic report service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. If you're on northbound 270, you're bogged down basically from Tesson Ferry all the way up to Ladue. There's a little bit of a gap up to Gravois, but basically just slow from that point onward. If you're on eastbound 64, east of Boone's Crossing into about Timberlake, there's a couple of slow pockets now. 10 minutes ago we had a jam, Lindbergh to the Innerbelt because of an earlier stall. Now there's just a couple of slow stretches running through that area. Westbound 64, Hampton headed out to Big Bend, slow. South 170 bogs down at the Parkway. South 270, that still looks great. 364 down to Ladue. Eastbound Highway 70, east of K through TR Hughes a little busy, but east of there coming through the Blanchette, you look good. South 170 also has a little heavy traffic south of Scudder down toward Natural Bridge. Northbound 55, down south you look fine, so it's just the backup from Bayless up through River to Pear, the Holly Hills area, and westbound 64 west of 3rd Street to the Poplars a little slow. Next update is 7:50 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. We're partners committed to you, your business, and your community. From family law to litigation, we're ready to serve. Visit sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
If you're just waking up, groundhog saw his shadow, 6 weeks of winter, et cetera, right, Joe Lundberg? And we know that. I mean, it's cold out there and snowy.
It is. Although I'll give you this little piece of good news, though. Starting next Thursday, guess what? The Cardinals spring training opens up.
Let's go.
So that's a sign that the spring can't be too far away, but we're going to have to deal with some more wintry weather in the days ahead. Today's not too bad. A little warmer than yesterday. Clouds, some intervals of sun, are high of 38. So a little bit of melting will take place today. Tonight will turn cloudy with a low in the upper 20s, much like it is right now. A bit of snow to start the day tomorrow, maybe a bit of drizzle or freezing drizzle. Just watch for slick spots tomorrow morning's commute. Then cloudy the rest of the day, the high 33. The coldest day of the week, that's Wednesday. Cloud will break for sunshine, the high 29. Then we start warming up a little bit on Thursday. Partly sunny, the high 42. Mid-40s Friday. Gets a little colder this week, and then maybe we can get to 50 degrees at some point next week. 30 degrees right now at St. Peter's, 30 in Florissant, cloudy, 30 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is now 7:42. A brutal snowstorm hit the southeast and left hundreds of drivers stranded. Some areas got more than a foot of snow. Charlotte, North Carolina, seeing the heaviest snowfall in that state in more than 20 years. We get more from CBS's Dave Malkoff.
Near blizzard conditions pummeled the southeast this weekend, bringing heavy snow, strong winds, and icy roads to the region.
This is no joke. This weekend, we saw more than 1,000 collisions, including 2 fatalities.
In Gastonia, North Carolina, a train slammed into a semi-truck stuck on the tracks in the snow. Thankfully, no one was injured. The National Guard was even called in to respond to a pileup that left 100 vehicles stranded on I-85 Saturday. South of Charlotte, a car slid off a highway into a creek, and firefighters rescued 2 people inside. The city of Charlotte got 11 inches of snow, the biggest winter storm since 2004.
I haven't seen snow in years.
Wasn't expecting this much snow, but we're loving it.
About 1,900 flights were canceled across the country on Sunday. More than 800 of those were at Charlotte Douglas International Airport.
Remember those warnings to get a real ID or a passport when traveling at the nation's airports? CBS's Jesse Mitchell says time has run out and passengers without them should get ready to pay.
The TSA is officially starting to charge a $45 fee for anyone traveling through airport security without a real ID or passport. The agency's new Confirm ID portal is accessible online to pay in advance and start the verification process, which could take an additional 30 minutes at the security checkpoint.
The newly released documents from the Justice Department's Epstein files show some in President Trump's inner circle had contact with the convicted sex offender and disgraced former financier. CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman says Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick is mentioned.
He and his family, it looks like, spent time on the island with Epstein. Also, he appears to have had a lunch with Epstein. Someone wrote back on behalf of Epstein and said it was nice to see him, Howard Lutnick. Lutnick's response was, I spent 0 time with him.
An update on relations between the European Union and Iran following the listing of Iran's paramilitary guard as a terror group.
Iran says it has summoned all the European Union ambassadors in the country to protest the recent listing of its paramilitary Revolutionary Guard as a terror group by the 27-nation bloc. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Esmail Baghaei told journalists on Monday that the ambassadors had been summoned the previous day. The European Union decided in January to list the Guard as a terror group for its part in a bloody crackdown on recent nationwide protests in the country. While the move is largely symbolic, it does add to the economic pressure squeezing Iran, particularly as the Guard has a major influence on the country's economy. I'm Karen Shamas.
Great win for Illinois yesterday, winning at Nebraska 78-69 puts them into a tie for first place in the Big Ten with Michigan with a 10-1 conference record. Illinois with a big win. SLU looking for another one tomorrow. They visit Davidson on KMOX. SLU dealing with some illnesses right now, most recently hitting Robbie Avila, and they're thinking about options, whether or not to play him and who would fill in for the big man. Meantime, we have been talking baseball here on KMOX and basketball and hockey and everything else. But the Cardinals, as Joe Lundberg mentioned, are just a week away from playing. And this is a burning question among fans. So if they keep Brendan Donovan, and he is still on the roster as we're a week away from those players reporting, what does that mean for J.J. Weatherholt, the team's top prospect? Does this still assure him a spot on the opening day roster?
Well, we're certainly not closing that door. We haven't. Obviously, we've been very open about that. We also want to make sure that it's still something that is not just handed to him. And there's some things that he was challenged with over the course of the offseason that I'll be real excited to see how they play out in spring training. And I said this before, it's not about a stat line. It's about a lot of things in the day-to-day, whether they're not necessarily between the lines during game time that we will see and look at, and then some things, in terms of where he's at, especially those things that can help him agility-wise and defensively. Obviously, either way, this is a special talent that we want to make sure we do right by. There's a reason we prepared him to play multiple positions. I don't know that, at this point I would want to say it's going to be this or it's going to be that. We know, and he knows he's prepared for a lot of different things, and that's honestly something I'd want to go about with as many players as possible. You want to give them versatility. You want to give them options. It just makes it easier for them to impact your club. And then once they're there, it makes it easier for your manager and your staff to be able to do the right things in game to help you win those extra couple games that can be the difference.
That's Hein Bloom, the Cardinals president of baseball operations. Full conversation from Sports on a Sunday Morning on our KMOX podcast page. Eugenio Suarez has a deal with the Reds, 1 year, $15 million for the slugging third baseman who will become their regular DH in Cincinnati. Carlos Alcaraz wins the Australian Open. He's the youngest ever to win the career slam at the age of 22. The Spaniard beat Novak Djokovic in 4 sets. Justin Rose went wire to wire to win the Farmers Insurance Open at Torrey Pines, first to do that in 71 years. And he shot 23 under par to win that tournament. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals and the Billikens. 104.1 FM, KMOX. The Blues play tonight. They're in Nashville at 7.
For 100 years, KMOX has been a part of St. Louis. Now, those moments live on, preserved, remastered, and ready to be heard again. Discover KMOX from the Archives, a podcast featuring classic audio from a century of service.
Sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
The KMOX from the Archives podcast, available now at KMOX100.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Attention business owners with a net income over $500,000. You need to work with a tax strategist that understands your entrepreneurial mindset. Download the most recent white paper written by E3 Consultants Group titled The Power of a Professional Tax Strategy Team. Go to e3wealth.com/radio to obtain a copy. It's time to learn about wealth and tax strategies that protect your personal and business economy. E3 is ready to help you think differently about your finances. Educate, empower, enlighten. That's the E3 difference.
Soulard is going to the dogs. Make sure to bring your four-legged friend to the streets of Soulard for the 33rd annual Purina Pet Parade, the world's largest costume pet parade. It all starts at 12th and Allen, Sunday, February 8th at 1 p.m. And KMOX's own Dave Glover will be leading the pack as the parade's Grand Marshal. Sign up today to march in the parade with your dog. The event supports Open Door Animal Sanctuary. For more details, PurinaPetParade.com. Don't miss this annual St. Louis Mardi Gras tradition. Sponsored by Purina. Big game, big screen, big energy at Ballpark Village, Sunday, February 8th. Enjoy the big game like you're in the end zone, featuring in-arena touchdown celebrations, fan cams, contest VIP packages, and more, hosted by RDJ and DJ Dex. Save up to $10 on tickets with code KMOX. Tickets and event details at stlballparkvillage.com/events. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
7:50 and time to get you an update on your ride in this morning. We check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still have slow traffic, Debbie, a little bit better, but it's still busy on North 270 right around Tesson Ferry through Gravois, and then north of 44 all the way up to Ladue. It's off the pace. South 270 really hasn't been bad this morning. Not much to worry about even in that work zone around Ladue. It's not all that slow. If you're on eastbound 64, still some traffic bogged down from about Annie Guns through Clarkson. And then it's busy again from Spady all the way through the Interbelt. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley's heavy. South 170, there are pockets of stop-and-go traffic from Olive down to 64. And it's also still a little slow. Scudder down to 70 as you come down from North County. Northbound 55, heavy pockets there from Bayless all the way up through to about Virginia. And westbound 64, a little slow at the 70 split, but basically west of 3rd Street to the Poplar is the busiest part. But again, even that's not a solid jam. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather forecast, we're looking at a high of 38 today with a partly sunny sky. That's going to feel good. Cloudy, low 29 tonight. Tomorrow, cloudy, bit of snow in the morning with little or no accumulation, a high of 33 for the afternoon. Wednesday, clouds give way to increasing amounts of sunshine, but it'll remain cold Wednesday, a high of 29. Don't worry, we get up to the low 40s Thursday and Friday. Currently, cloudy, 26 downtown at the Arch.
It is 7:52, and the news continues. A star-studded night at the Grammys. The top 3 awards, album, record, and song of the year, went to different artists. More from CBS's Anthony Mason on the big winner of the night.
Bad Bunny. The man of the night, Bad Bunny. Visibly emotional when he picked up the Album of the Year award. The first Spanish-language album to win since the start of the Grammys.
I want to dedicate this award to all the people that had to leave their homeland, their country, to follow their dreams.
Y si hoy me embaracho, baby, no me ayude.
Bring the band in, baby! Headlining the Super Bowl halftime show in less than a week, Bad Bunny was contractually obligated not to perform, but host Trevor Noah tried anyway.
Y si hoy me emborracho, que me ayude.
Bad Bunny! The Puerto Rican superstar getting a standing ovation for his message after an earlier win.
Eyes out. We're not aliens, we are humans, and we are Americans.
Even though Cher confused the song name with the late R&B great, it was a joyous moment for Kendrick Lamar, earning Record of the Year for the second year in a row.
This is what music is about.
Wildflower.
And it was the third career Song of the Year win for Billie Eilish, who was among many artists donning Ice Out pins.
SZA, who was born in St. Louis and grew up in New Jersey, teamed up with Kendrick Lamar for that Record of the Year for their song Luther. During her speech, SZA said people are governed by God, not the government.
Please don't fall into despair. I know that right now is a scary time. I know the algorithms tell us that it's so scary and all is lost. There's been world wars, there's been plagues, and we have gone on. We can go on. We need each other.
Now that the harsh winter weather conditions have improved somewhat, people are being encouraged to reschedule canceled blood donation appointments. Those cancellations have led to a blood shortage nationwide and in Illinois as well. Kristen Benedict is co-founder of the A Pint for Kim nonprofit, which has beat its own record for the largest single location blood drive in Illinois for 6 years running.
Obviously, all blood types are encouraged to go donate, but type O positive and negative, often we'll hear people refer to that as the universal donor. So it's really important because that can serve every single person who needs blood can use that universal donor blood.
Benedict says that 1 hour of a blood donor's time can save up to 3 lives.
Well, it is Groundhog Day, and in case you missed it, this is what happened.
Ground
Oh, my. That's how Punxsutawney Phil and all the guys wearing top hats answer his wake-up call. He saw his shadow. So that means 6 more weeks of winter, according to Punxsutawney Phil.
Yeah, well, it is February 2nd, so we do expect more winter.
That is correct. It's 7:56 on February 2nd, and this is Total Information AM.
Hey, St. Louis City SC fans, mark your calendars now. The Boys in Red return to Energizer Park to kick off Season 4 Saturday, February 21st. And you could be there for the dawn of a new golden era of St. Louis soccer. Go to stlcitysc.com/tickets and reserve your seat now for the MLS home opener versus Charlotte FC. Limited quantities remain. See you soon, St. Louis.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Baseball is all about stepping up to the plate when it matters most. And when you've been injured, you need a heavy hitter in your corner. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Proud sponsor of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
Here's Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, if you're driving into work on eastbound Highway 70, you got a great run this morning. Of course, no sun for these eastbound drivers, everything I've been seeing, so that's helpful, obviously. Eastbound 64, there's just a little slowdown briefly at Clarkson. It's still pretty busy, though, east of Ballas all the way in through to about Big Bend. South 170 is slow now from Page, approaching Page, really, all the way down to 64, westbound 64. Clayton Skinker to Big Bend, and then a little busy Ballas out to Spady, northbound 270, north of Tesson Ferry through Gravois, and then you've got slow traffic from Big Bend pretty much all the way up to Ladue. Eastbound 44, east of Elm to Laclede Station's a little off the pace. Northbound 55, the usual congestion from Bayless up to River de Pere, Loughborough up to Virginia, a little slow. And downtown, westbound 64, just bogged down Route 3 to the Poplar right now. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Cloudy, 26 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman, and these are the stories making news and what's coming up on Total Information AM next hour. A St. Louis University demographer talks about the latest census data and what it means locally.
Dietitian Michelle Wilson will join us to discuss migraines and what can be done with your eating habits.
The mayor of Venice, Illinois, is excited about a new grocery store in his town, one that's municipally owned.
KMOX's Maria Kina has learned about efforts in the Missouri legislature to improve utility rate competition.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Clouds and some intervals of sunshine today are high 38.
Debbie's back for the 8 o'clock hour. I'll return at noon with Chris Ranji on the Gas House Gang. It's 8 o'clock.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. People from the Gulf Coast to the Northeast are under cold weather alerts after a second winter storm slammed the South over the weekend. The Carolina coast got up to 19 inches of snow, and in some spots, wind gusts of over 50 miles an hour. This man's in Wilmington, North Carolina.
It looked like a winter wonderland out there. And especially down here in the South or at the beach, for us to get this much snow is unbelievable.
CBS meteorologist Rob Marciano.
We've got cold weather advisories across the Carolinas and through parts of Florida, where temperatures are below freezing in parts of South Florida. 22 to 32 degrees here. West Palm was 30 yesterday. It's 31 right now. May even dip that. And then here you go, 5 to 15 degrees across the Carolinas.
The Justice Department is facing new criticism after it released more case files on Jeffrey Epstein Friday. Correspondent Scott McFarland from Washington.
A major issue in this release, dozens of unredacted pictures of young women's nude bodies and faces. The New York Times flagged at least 40 explicit photos to the Department of Justice. Meanwhile, CBS News has learned several lawmakers are demanding immediate access to the records to check if the department is illegally withholding any files.
Relief for a father and his 5-year-old son who've returned to the Minneapolis suburb where they were detained by federal agents in their driveway almost 2 weeks ago. Correspondent Bradley Blackburn.
5-year-old Liam Ramos and his father Adrian are back in Minnesota. Texas Congressman Joaquin Castro posted cell phone video of them walking out of an ICE facility after a judge ordered their release. Residents and the mayor of their Columbia Heights suburb came out to welcome them home.
Homeland Security officials say Adrian Arias entered the country illegally. The family's lawyers say he has a pending asylum case. Measles has been reported at the facility where Arias and his son were being detained.
ICE officials tell CBS News the cases were discovered on Friday and they're providing detainees with proper medical care. They say they've taken steps to quarantine and control any further spread of infection, including quarantining anybody who may have had contact with 2 people who have the measles. This is happening at the Dilley Detention Facility, which houses families taken into custody for alleged immigration violations. It's about an hour from San Antonio. Peter King, CBS News.
If you believe a budgie little groundhog from Pennsylvania, the snow and cold may not be going away anytime soon.
There is a shadow here on my ground. 6 more weeks of winter abound.
Satani Phil came out of his hole to make his annual prognostication this morning. This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored.
It is 8:03, and right now in downtown St. Louis, it's mostly cloudy, 26 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey. A late Sunday night officer-involved shooting in the city of St. Louis involves St. Louis County Police. City police spokesperson Mitch McCoy says several county officers shot and killed a suspect who pulled a gun on them after a car chase.
We are in the process of doing those interviews, getting a clear picture to exactly what happened. As you are all aware, along with the Metro Police, County Police have body cameras. We'll also review the body cam video.
No police officers injured. This all began with a shots fired call on Lucas and Hunt, and that prompted a county police search for a suspect. The city is vowing a full investigation into another death at the St. Louis Justice Center.
32-year-old Demetria McDial was found alone and unresponsive in her cell Saturday afternoon. Efforts to resuscitate her failed, and she was pronounced dead at the hospital about 6 p.m. Family members told Fox 2 McDial had previously complained of chest pains to jail staff. Mayor Kara Spencer issued a statement. It said she shares the community's concerns over lives lost at the jail, and she called for a detailed investigation. Nearly 24 inmates have died at the City Justice Center since 2020. 2 of them have come since Nate Hayward took over as jail commissioner last September. Scott Jagal, KMOX News.
An adult man has died after being struck Saturday night on North Highway 67 near Old Halls Ferry. St. Louis County Police report the victim was in the roadway when he was struck. The driver of the car remained on the scene and cooperated with investigators. A 4-alarm fire destroyed a Gasconade County winery building early Sunday. The Owensville Fire Department says Wenwood Winery and Bay along Highway K, not far from Herman, went up in flames, drawing a response from more than a dozen fire departments. No injuries were reported. KMOX has a follow-up on the ongoing escalating electric bills. Missouri lawmakers are hoping to break up a perceived utility monopoly.
The legislation is being reintroduced by State Representative Tricia Burns, State Senator Nick Schroer, and other state reps. The bills create electricity options for residents and businesses, providing consumers more power over their electric bills. Retail's Energy Advancement League Senior Vice President Abby Foster.
Over the last 15 years, the investor-owned utilities in Missouri have only built about 1,000 megawatts of energy of new power generation, and rates have gone up 60% in the last 15 years.
Foster adds, now you're facing retirement of old power plants in addition to load growth from the economy and data centers. For the first time, the investors in utilities are going to have to build a lot of new power generation.
And in a state where they still allow monopolies for the utilities, the ratepayers don't have any choice but to pay what the cost is that the utilities say is to build those power plants, plus their guaranteed profit.
But Ameren attributes much of the high cost to upgrades to their electrical infrastructure. Representative Burns believes that's dodging the accountability question.
My community is very engaged, so they know about SB4. And we can talk about it in a very complicated way, or we can make it really simple. And SB4 put the risk on the ratepayer and took it off of their investor.
Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
We'll have more on this story and go in depth coming up at 8:41 here on KMOX. 6 St. Louis public schools that have been closed since at least 2009 could be demolished under a plan being considered. One, Walnut Park, was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 2013 and is designed by William B. Ittner, as is Hempstead School. Euclid School was badly damaged by the tornado. Demolition is expected to cost about $1 million per building, according to the Business Journal, and could begin as soon as this summer. The bricks could be salvaged and sold.
I fully expect at the end of the day, he will get confirmed.
That's Senator Eric Schmidt talking about President Trump's pick, Kevin Warsh, for Fed chair, as to what he expects from Warsh.
I think one of the great tragedies of the Powell era is that this sort of deafness to what should have happened months ago, in fact, probably years ago, is rate cuts. He's been overtly political, in my view, in his job.
Schmidt tells Fox News Jerome Powell and the rest of the financial establishment were wildly wrong about Trump's tariffs. From the KMOX business desk, maybe a sign that winter is on the way out. Not according to Punxsutawney Phil. But anyway, the Cardinals will be loading equipment trucks at Busch Stadium today. It's truck day in preparation for the big trip down to spring training in Jupiter. Pitchers and catchers report February 10th. The rest of the squad reports on February 16th. It is 8:08, and we are going to take a quick break here. And then when we come back, we'll check traffic and weather. And we'll check in with Ness Sandoval. What's the latest census information telling us about the St. Louis region? That story on the way.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit lance.drurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM, Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 8:10 and time to check in with Roger Brand and get a look at the forecast as well. Roger's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we keep looking better, Debbie, on the highways. If you're on northbound 270, now we're looking at just slow traffic north of Big Bend up to Ladue. Eastbound 64 still kind of busy. Ballas up to Lindbergh and then east of Clayton Warson through the Interbelt. The Interbelt a little bit better. I'd call it south of Olive now on South 170. And it's just slow down to 64 instead of stop and go pockets. Westbound 64 west of Hampton to Hanley. So, again, that's not as bad. Eastbound 44, there's a little heavy traffic. Edgar Road overpass into Laclede Station. After that, it sorts itself out. They are scheduled to do road work starting next hour, 9 to I believe it is 6 on eastbound 44 between that run between like Kings Highway and Grand. So be prepared for that, but they're not out there yet. Northbound 55, you've got slow traffic from Bayless up to River to Pear and then Loughborough up to Holly Hills, a little busy downtown. We've cleared out across the Poplar. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Clouds and intervals of sunshine today. Not quite so cold this afternoon with a high reaching 38. Mostly cloudy tonight, 29. Tomorrow we'll see a bit of snow in the morning with little or no accumulation. Just watch for slick spots. Remaining cloudy and cold tomorrow afternoon with a high of 33. Clouds break for more and more sunshine Wednesday. It'll be cold though, the high 29. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now in downtown St. Louis, we have cloudy skies and 26 degrees. It is 8:12.
You're listening to Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Will we have the number of people needed to sustain our communities in coming decades? That's the question that demographers have been studying for our region. New data available from the federal government is giving them a more clear picture. And joining me now, St. Louis University Professor Ness Sandoval. Thank you so much for taking time with us this morning.
Thank you for inviting me to share a few observations.
I understand there is some new data available. What do these latest reports tell us about the region?
Yeah, so the new data is at the state level, and then we will get the county data in March. But this new data does tell us that growth at the U.S. level starting to slow down fairly significantly. And so it's going to be very difficult for states to grow, given that we're not going to see the growth at the U.S. level.
What's happening to trigger that?
So part of it, and we know this is coming, right now at the U.S. level, every 9 seconds there's a death, and every 9 seconds there's a birth. And this happens during the months of January and February because we get excessive deaths from vulnerable populations. The gap between birth and death is about 500,000 today. If you go back about a decade, it was 1.5 million. So the United States is getting closer to what we call a demographic winter. More people will die than babies born, and this is going to happen within 4 to 8 years. The early estimate is like 2030. Some estimates have it around 2036, but we know this is coming. And Missouri happens to be one of these states since 2020 where more people have died than babies born.
What do societies experience when you see this happening?
Well, what happens typically is you're going to see a decline in your labor force participation. We're not going to have enough workers to fill essential jobs that require workers to be out there, plumbers, people just where you need that manual labor. That's when we look at countries around the world, we see that that's where these countries are struggling is they don't have enough workers for these types of jobs. So what happened in Missouri's case is this was brought on by COVID. It was excessive death. But now we're away from COVID, and the new numbers suggest that Missouri is going to see more people die than babies born, not because of COVID, because of the age structure of the region. And so the numbers that came out this week show that there was only 177 people natural increase. That's it. The 2025 data that's coming out, the provisional data shows more people are dying in Missouri than babies born. And that's kind of what we expected to see. We knew it was going to happen around 26, 27. But what this means is that for the remaining part of this century, Missouri will be one of the handful of states that will have more people dying than babies born.
So if this happens and then you have less people in the workforce, what does that do when it comes to things like funding social supports and funding government functions, like even our schools?
What happens is you have fewer people supporting an elderly population. And so we look at this, it's the aging index and the dependency ratio. And we typically want 4 workers for 1 senior citizen. That's kind of like the norm. That's not going to happen in Missouri. We're going to have fewer workers supporting more senior citizens, and so it becomes we're going to see industries kind of go out of business. We're going to have to close a lot of universities, and we kind of have a sense of which universities are in trouble at the state level. So we're going to see those universities start to close up. We're going to see a lot of high schools and grade schools close. And we're going to see here in St. Louis, we already know there's going to be an 80,000 decline in students over the next 15 to 20 years. So we have too many schools, even in the St. Louis region. So this is coming just because there's been a significant decline in births. And then we have to kind of orient our economy towards an economy that's going to have a lot more seniors in them. And so we need a lot more senior housing. We need more workers in the area of taking care of seniors. And so there's going to be an adjustment in the types of occupations that are needed and where we invest our money.
So if there's more focus in communities on a senior population, does that make it even harder to attract some of the young families that might be needed to grow a community?
Absolutely. And we kind of see this across the United States. We have several states who are ahead of Missouri in terms of people dying than babies born, and it's very difficult for these states to attract young people. In fact, young people are leaving those states because the economic burden is so high, because so much of the resources at the state level are being devoted to senior citizens. And so Missouri's not there yet. This won't happen for at least 2 to 3 decades. A lot depends if young people leave. Right? This is not. If they decide to go to Texas and saying we don't want to be part of this could accelerate. We just don't know, and this is why we have to track this every year to see where young people are deciding to stay or go. We know in our region in St. Louis, we are seeing young people leave for other metropolitan regions. It's not necessarily true on the Kansas City part. So this is state data. There's lots of variation within the state. we see in many rural counties that they're in deep demographic trouble because they have more people dying than babies born, and they have more people leaving than people moving in, and so they're declining both ways already.
Dr. Sandoval, what are some of the next reports that you're waiting for to get a better picture of what's happening?
Yeah, so in about 2 weeks, we will get the IRS migration data, and this tells us where workers are moving, where they're staying, and these are going to be people who file IRS. But we're able to see within these tax reports families of children, dependencies. So we can kind of see, are you getting families? Are you losing families? And then the next data that's related to this data release is at the county level. And so the numbers that we see here, so Missouri did grow, but it didn't grow as fast as it did last year. In fact, Missouri is 27th in the country today in terms of growth. So we're not in the top tier of growing. And part of the reason why we saw a decline is we have fewer international migrants coming into the state. And so those numbers will eventually start to trickle down at the county level when that data is released in March. And so we should expect to see a pretty significant difference than last March.
What do we know historically it takes to reverse something like this?
It takes about a generation to really. There's not a demographic switch that you can turn on and say we're gonna change this overnight. It starts with policy. It starts with every state is trying to attract what we call the creative class, young people, to get them here to start families, to start businesses. And so Missouri is competing with Ohio. It's competing with South Carolina. It's competing with North Carolina. All these states are trying to attract young people from across the United States to move there because everybody sees this storm coming. They see fewer children being born, and they want thriving economies. They want workers. And so every state right now is trying to develop policy to get young people to come there. And it's typically driven by the engine for most of this growth is by cities, vibrant cities, housing, making sure there's enough housing being built. And so there's a lot of issues that go into play here.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning and offering your insights.
Thank you very much.
That is Ness Sandoval, professor of sociology and demography at St. Louis University, with us this morning here on KMOX.
8:21. Let's see if there are any problems on the roadways that you should be aware of if you're just heading out the door. Roger Brand has the latest view from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, basically, there's some slow going out there, Debbie, which is getting better, so that's not bad. This traffic reports a service of S&L Coins, northbound 270, let's call it Doherty Ferry, all the way up to Ladou's Heavy, eastbound 64 Lindbergh in through 170. By the time you get to Hanley, you're in better shape. Westbound 64 Bellevue to Hanley is the only slowdown now. South 170, that's still a pretty solid backup, at least the left lane coming down from the Parkway to 64. Eastbound 44 is thinned out at Webster. Northbound 55, just a little slow. Bayless up to not even quite Weber, really, before you get to River to Perry. It's cleared out. We've cleared out downtown, westbound across the Poplar Street Bridge. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be a pretty nice day. I mean, comparatively speaking, I guess. This Groundhog Day will have a high of 38 degrees, cloudy to partly sunny skies. Tomorrow, we could start out with a little bit of snow in the morning, but we're not looking at accumulation. High of 33 and then 29 on Wednesday. Right now in downtown St. Louis, it's 27 degrees with cloudy skies downtown.
S&L Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call S&L. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. S&L Coin.
Being first in line can be very important to homeowners. First in line for the plumber. First in line for the HVAC guy. First at Banner Construction. It's Banner Construction's winter home event, and you can be the first in line this spring and save before the annual price increases. Banner Construction is a James Hardy and Pella replacement windows specialist, and now is the best time to schedule a free in-home consultation with no obligation. Call 314-569-1050 or check them out on the web at bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history. From Monterrey.
Presenting the Barnyard Follies.
Among those voices, Bill Wilkerson.
He fakes drop sets, looking, throwing upfield. It is.
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
You've got a big day, so you use Unstoppable Scent Boosters to give your laundry nonstop freshness. So no matter how long the day goes, you
can't stop this power, this walk, this pose, this strut, this look, this talk.
Your clothes will be so fresh you can confidently strut into that end of the day meeting like a
bosses. Let's talk business in my office.
Add new Unstoppable Speeds to your wash for 24-hour nonstop freshness so you can smell unstoppable.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
You're back with Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. I read a recent article talking about migraines and how for some people it can be a lot worse in winter. So I wanted to see if there are any dietary changes or dietary habits that you can change up to help you if you have migraines. Michelle Wilson is a registered dietitian at Brands Nutrition in St. Louis and O'Fallon, Illinois. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Is there any truth to the idea that you can change your diet and either help or eliminate migraine symptoms?
Yes. So there are some dietary considerations when it comes to migraines. It definitely depends on what types of migraines that you're having, but we've seen a few commonalities across the spectrum of things that you can change. Making sure that you're regularly hydrating is very important. Getting regular sleep, high protein breakfast, and having protein throughout the day at your meals. And electrolytes are also taken into consideration.
How do proteins help?
So with proteins, if you have a high protein breakfast and you have protein at meals, then you're more likely to not have like these spikes and dips in blood sugar. So you want to have consistent carbohydrates throughout the day and protein paired with that. So you're not having really low blood sugars that could trigger a migraine.
What about the electrolytes?
The electrolytes help with the fluid electrolyte balance, which can help our body to stay more hydrated. But also we have cerebral spinal fluid that helps protect our brain too. So having that good pressure there can be helpful for that.
Is some of this personal, though, person to person, what maybe their triggers would be dietarily?
Absolutely. So it's definitely individualized. It depends on the type of migraine that they're having. And it also depends on if they have any certain reactions to foods. If they notice that some foods after they eat it tends to trigger a migraine. I tell people, you're the expert on you. If you know every single time I have this, I end up getting migraine symptoms, then maybe avoid or limit that. Or talk to a dietitian about what might be going on there, because maybe there's another factor to consider. Caffeine, for instance, can be something that can be difficult for migraines. If you have like caffeine withdrawal symptoms, it could be triggering for one.
One of the things that I've heard too is that because of the symptoms that you have with migraines, that a lot of people they're nauseous or they just don't have an appetite because of it. Can that cause disruptions and make migraines worse?
Yes, absolutely. So if you're having those dips in blood sugar, if you're not regularly eating, then it can exacerbate the symptoms. It can be very difficult to eat when you're nauseated, though. So trying to figure out ways to help reduce that nausea. So for some people, ginger or peppermint can be helpful, or maybe something a little bit more intense, like a prescription for Zofran, for instance, can help with nausea symptoms. That way you can regularly fuel your body without it being so difficult. And other people might have an easier time drinking, having some liquid calories. So drinking maybe like a protein shake or a meal replacement drink because maybe food is less tolerable at that time.
Right. Michelle, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
That is Michelle Wilson, registered dietitian with Brands Nutrition.
It is 8:28. That time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
At Graybar, we know your time is money. That's why our services go beyond parts and products. With kitting, pre-assembly, wire carts, and Graybar smart reels that keep you moving. We stage materials and manage logistics so you can spend less time sorting and more time installing. And with locations nationwide, we deliver when and where you need it, working to make your job easier every step of the way. Yep, Graybar does that.
Meet Linda. She's stuck in a school pickup line, thinking about what to make for dinner, are the kids' practice jerseys clean, if she sent out that last email before leaving work. But you know what she's not thinking about? Her HVAC system. Linda is a preferred partner with Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation. Members get 2 HVAC system checks per year. We clean and inspect your HVAC systems at each visit. Partners also get priority service and exclusive discounts starting at just $19 per month. Life is chaos, but with Air Comfort Service, you'll have peace of mind with your HVAC system. Visit aircomfortservice.com today. After all, comfort is our middle name.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It is now 8:30. Let's get you a check of the roadways. Roger Brand joins us from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, there's still basically just some slow going through the Mid-County area, Debbie, and that's about all she wrote for us. Northbound 270 approaching Manchester up to Ladue is slow. Eastbound 64 east of Lindbergh in through Hanley, then it's opening up. South 170 still kind of slow from Brentwood to 64, and westbound 64 Bellevue to Hanley still busy. Other than that, 55's cleared out. Eastbound 70 looks great coming in from Wentzville and downtown. We're in good shape headed across the bridges. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Taking a look at the forecast, we could see some sunshine poking through today. Mostly it's just going to be cloudy. We'll have a high around 38 degrees, 29 overnight. Then tomorrow, a high of 33, but we could start off the day with a little bit of snow. Nothing really in the way of accumulation. A little colder on Wednesday with some sunshine and a high of 29. Then Thursday and Friday, it looks like we're back up into the 40s. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, it is now 25 degrees, make that 27 degrees in downtown St. Louis. The latest efforts in Congress to avoid a government shutdown. We get the latest from Donna Warder.
House Speaker Mike Johnson tells Fox News Sunday it'll be a few days before a government funding package comes up for a vote as Republicans and Democrats debate reining in President Donald Trump's immigration enforcement operations.
The president is leading this. It's his play call to do it this way. He has already conceded that he wants to turn down the volume, so to speak, and make sure this is done in an appropriate way. What a great step it was to put Tom Homan in charge of the situation in Minneapolis and Minnesota. He has 40 years experience. He's brought a steady hand to the wheel.
Trump struck a deal with the Senate last week to separate out funding for the Department of Homeland Security from a broader government funding package, following public outrage from 2 shooting deaths in Minneapolis during ICE protests. The Senate measure would fund DHS only for 2 weeks, which sets up a deadline for Congress to debate and vote on new ICE restrictions. Donna Warder, Washington.
AP correspondent Karen Shamas reports on the reopening of the Rafah crossing between Gaza and Egypt, a much-needed lifeline for Palestinians after nearly 2 decades of closure.
Egyptian and Israeli security officials have said that Gaza's Rafah border crossing with Egypt has reopened for limited traffic. An Egyptian official said only 50 Palestinians were allowed to cross in each direction in the first day of the crossing's operation, although the opening represents a key step following the October 2025 ceasefire. It's a mostly symbolic development on the ground, as few people will be allowed to travel in either direction and no goods will be going into the war-torn territory. Israel's military controls the area between the Rafah crossing and the zone where most Palestinians live. About 20,000 Palestinian children and adults needing medical care hope to leave devastated Gaza via the crossing, according to Gaza health officials. Thousands of other Palestinians outside the territory hope to enter and return home. I'm Karen Shamas.
Now, a wrap-up of the 2026 Grammy Awards from last night.
Bad Bunny made history with a win for Album of the Year at the 2026 Grammy Awards.
Bad Bunny, the
68th Annual Grammy Awards in Los Angeles made Bad Bunny's album Debí Tirar Más Fotos the first Spanish-language album to have taken the Grammy's top honor. Miss Lauryn Hill returned to the Grammy stage to pay tribute to the late D'Angelo and Roberta Flack. Other winners included Billie Eilish, Jelly Roll, and Lady Gaga. Olivia Dean won Best New Artist. Kendrick won the first televised award for Best Rap Album and Record of the Year. That brings Kendrick to a total of 27 career Grammys, the most of any rapper.
So with that being said, we're going to continue to move like that. Luther forever. Cheryl, thank you so much if you're out there listening, watching. We appreciate you at the bottom of our hearts. Luther forever. Thank y'all.
Audio courtesy of CBS and the Recording Academy. I'm Haya Punjwani.
It is 8:35. Coming up, we're going to take a closer look at trying to break up utility monopolies, including Ackerman. Maria Kina has a look at that for us. It is 8:35.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. Our St. Louis Baseball Cardinals reset last season. Now they're planning for the long term. Have you thought about a long-term plan for your family? A will, a trust, powers of attorney? Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano can guide you with a personalized estate plan. Sign up for our free webinar on our website, yourestateMatters.com. Learn more about estate planning, get some answers, list your questions, then schedule a consultation. You can plan for your family, your favorite charities, taxes, your long-term care, and even your pets now, before the courts do it for you later. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
I was ordering food for the office from the same few places for too long.
For workplaces suffering with office food fatigue, every day's a struggle.
Before starting Easy Cater, I assumed having no good vegan options for Carl in finance was normal.
Easy Cater is designed to treat OFF with a huge variety of favorite restaurants, plus tools to help you meet dietary needs and stay on budget. Used daily, one platform lets you save time and shine. Ask your app store about Easy Cater or start an order at easycater.com.
Time is valuable. That's why Lowe's Blueprint Takeoffs turn blueprints into quotes faster. Bring us your plans, and we'll generate itemized material lists to make quoting easier so you can get back to building. Plus, at the Lowe's Pro Desk, you get access to thousands of building materials not sold in store. And when your order's ready, we'll deliver everything to the job site. Improving is easy at Lowe's.
It is 8:37 and it's time for your money report, and it's sponsored by Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Ford may be teaming up with a Chinese tech company to build electric vehicles in the U.S. According to the Financial Times, Ford and China's Xiaomi have been in talks to form a joint venture to manufacture EVs. However, the two denied to the media outlet that they have been in discussions. Chinese EV makers have been steering clear of the U.S., but they are expanding rapidly elsewhere in the world. Turning to the markets this morning, the S&P 500 is looking at a fourth day of declines. And this is even as Disney reported quarterly earnings that topped Wall Street expectations. The bulk of the company's profits in the quarter were delivered by the Parks and Cruises unit. And Valentine's Day spending could reach a new record this year. The National Retail Federation says Americans are expected to dole out $29.1 billion on their loved ones. Candy remains the top gift, followed by flowers and cards, and 35% plan to give their pet a present this year. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Soulard is going to the dogs. Make sure to bring your four-legged friend to the streets of Soulard for the 33rd annual Purina Pet Parade, the world's largest costume pet parade. It all starts at 12th and Allen, Sunday, February 8th at 1 p.m. And KMOX's own Dave Glover will be leading the pack as the parade's Grand Marshal. Sign up today to march in the parade with your dog. The event supports Open Door Animal Sanctuary. For more details, PurinaPetParade.com. Don't miss this annual St. Louis Mardi Gras tradition, sponsored by Purina.
Join Mark Patrick Hypnosis. Lose the weight or stop smoking. Guaranteed only $59.99. Saturday, March 7th at the Residence Inn by Marriott, St. Louis Westport in St. Louis. Weight loss hypnosis starts at 11 a.m. Registration at 10:30 a.m. Stop smoking starts at 2 p.m. Registration 1:30 p.m.
8:41, time to check in once again with Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, right now, Debbie, Missouri bottom north of 370 is a complete jam. I'm looking at the northbound traffic. It's not moving at all. We had a report of a crash in the area, and the right lane southbound, that'd be 141 there at 370, is also blocked, but that southbound blockage isn't causing any problems at this time. Looks like a bunch of the salt trucks or something like that, work trucks. If you're on northbound 270, north of Manchester, up to 64, slow. Eastbound 64, McKnight through Hanley, heavy. South 170, sort of busy at the Parkway. Otherwise, these other highways look great. I'm Roger Brand of the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold. Guaranteed Realty, 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold. Guaranteed Realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
Cloudy to partly sunny today with a high of 38 degrees. It is Groundhog Day. And yes, Punxsutawney Phil, saw his shadow. 6 more weeks of winter, says the rodent. Otherwise, it's just mostly cloudy downtown right now and 27 degrees. Customers held captive by utility companies are demanding alternative solutions as electric rates increase. Missouri State Representative Tricia Burns and other reps have reintroduced 3 bills.
The legislation creates a free market alternative to a vertically integrated energy structure. The bills require the electric utilities to compete with electricity generators and suppliers to build power plants and sell electricity. Representative Burns says nothing is guaranteed in the legislature, but the more people that demand it, the more likely it is to pass. And Abby Fisher is vice president for Retail's Energy Advancement League and says, now we are facing old power plants being retired, and you're also dealing with the data centers.
I like to just boil it down to a simple conversation, right? Choice improves accountability. I'm not out trying to say if you have choice, automatically your bills drop. I think that that's doing the opposite of what my counterparts are doing. They're trying to create fear to continue to have the monopolies. I'm trying to say what we need right now is accountability. That's what we need as we go into these AI data centers, as we continue to have economic growth. We need choice for ratepayers.
And there's definitely momentum building for this around the country. So there's quite a few states in a similar situation to Missouri where rates have increased significantly. They're facing load growth. They're facing retirements of existing assets. There's legislation like this that's been introduced in Virginia and in Indiana and West Virginia. So legislators are looking for solutions, but this is definitely something that's already a proven solution for other states. So there's 23 states that have some type of allowance for competition with the electric utility. In 14 of those states, it's actually exactly how Representative Burns' legislation is. So it's a fully competitive market. The utilities don't get a guaranteed rate of return on building power plants. And what we've looked at is how have those states performed compared to the monopoly utility states over the last 25 years. And in all of those states, the rates have increased at a slower rate. They have better reliability. They've built more power generation, and they've decarbonized faster at the same time. I live in Pennsylvania, for example. When I get my electric bill, I can go onto the state shopping website. I put in my zip code, and I have hundreds of offers to choose from that are fixed rate contract offers to compare against the utility rate. And if the utility rate is higher, or I'm looking for a renewable product, or I want an electric vehicle product, I can choose that. And I have the ability to shop and hold the price and companies accountable by using my buying power as a customer. There aren't customers in Missouri. They're captive ratepayers that have no choice but to buy from the utility.
What are you looking at as far as a time frame with this?
Abby, why don't you talk about the rollout?
Sure. So the sooner this is passed, the better, because of SB4, the legislation that the utilities lobbied for last year that they got successfully passed, it made it so that when they go in and tell the utility commission, we need to build a power plant, before they even put a shovel in the ground, they can start charging ratepayers to build that power plant. The problem with that is what we've seen in other states is sometimes those costs are overrun and they have to go back and ask for more money, but because they've already started to build, the commission's in a situation where they have to kind of be willing to approve so they can continue to build. Or in some cases, the power plant never even generated electricity, and those ratepayers in those states had to pay for that power plant and all of the costs to build it up until that point. So the importance of it being implemented as soon as possible is critical for saving money for ratepayers in Missouri. It's implemented in phases. And so the first phase is for the utilities to divest their assets and begin acting as a competitor in the market rather than getting their blank paycheck for what they're building. Commercial and industrial customers are able to shop first and procure their own electricity. That's within the first 2 years. And then in the next phase, it's the residential customers. The reason residential customers are last is so that it gives the commission time to put together an education program, to put together a state shopping website, like I mentioned, is in Pennsylvania and in the other states, and to educate customers on what their options are and how they would get their electric bill, and to roll out the program so that it's implemented like the other states that do this, like Texas and Ohio and Pennsylvania.
When you go on the website, then, since you have so many to choose from, if the following year you want to change, is that something that you could do?
You can choose your contract based off of price. If you would like a really long contract and not have to worry about it, there's offers that are 36 months that the price never changes. If you want a short-term contract, so you can kind of go back and get the lowest rate possible, you can do that. And if you decide not to shop at all, you still have the default utility offer that you stay with. So it's not like customers are in limbo if they don't choose a supplier. There's always the default offer if they don't actively participate.
I had called the PSC about Ameren. The response I got for them was, well, there's not a whole lot we can do. Is that accurate?
Well, we have no choice, right? So right now they control the power of generation. They control the lines. And what option do we have? This bill would open up the market so that we would have others come in and they can buy wholesale. They can become a generator. And these won't be fly-by-the-night companies. These will have to be highly regulated companies. We're not going to have scammers coming out and being in our market, right, and harming families and seniors. But the bottom line is if we do nothing, this becomes our new normal. We have higher bills, guaranteed profits for a monopoly, and no accountability, just like you're saying. How can the PSC do much when there's no other options?
What about your colleagues as far as the Missouri state legislature? What's your feelings there as far as whether you'll have support for this?
Well, the people in my silo agree. They see all of this coming together, right? They see the AI data centers, they see SB4, and those that are in the monopolies know that we have to bring accountability. Now, it's not all of them. I'm not going to say that, but there's definitely a groundswell when you have your constituents reaching out because of staggering prices right now, before we even get into some of the backlash from SB4, that's what's scary, right? We can already see it harming our families. It's already impacting those, and they're reaching out to us. So the more that those phone calls are coming in to the senators and the state representatives, the more momentum we're gathering, and it's there.
Maria Kina, KMOX News.
I'm Brad Young. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. It's an absolute pleasure always to talk about McKelvey Homes and Jim Brennan, my great friend, the president of McKelvey Homes. They've been going since 1898, 128 years of excellence, Missouri's oldest home builder and the best. They always find the best home sites, and they have done it again with the Reserve at Wildwood, a premier development located on 50 acres at the southwest corner of State Route 109 and 100 in the heart of Wildwood. This community will offer a stunning collection of homes from McKelvey, designer series, Liberty 3-car, Liberty 2-car, high-quality craftsmanship and style that McKelvey is known for. The Reserve at Wildwood, more than just a place to live, it is a place to thrive. All you need to do is go to McKelveyHomes.com, and you can reference all of the great homes and home sites that McKelvey Homes has to offer. Move up to McKelvey, McKelvey Homes, McKelveyHomes.com.
Zero Res wants to give your home the love and attention it deserves. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $119. Take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Book online at ZeroResSTL.com and mention the KMOX special.
The Humane Society of Missouri's Day of Giving is just around the corner. On this day, your favorite local TV station will highlight incredible rescue stories of animals fighting to survive, stories of courage, resilience, and hope. Visit the Humane Society website to watch these powerful stories and see the life-saving work made possible by compassionate donors like you. These stories underscore why it's so vital to support the HSMO. Go to KMOX.com/events today for more information.
Any day now, construction will begin on a grocery store that has the potential to jumpstart the economy of an Illinois city. It is now 8:51. Megan Lynch speaks with the mayor of Venice.
This is a bigger scope of the Venice revitalization plan, is what it's called, with the grocery store being the anchor, being the lead project that we're moving forward with. It's what they call a public option grocery store. It's something new that they are trying. The state is trying it, and hopefully that it would kind of take off. And what it is that the city will always own the building and the land, and private investors that will come in to run the grocery store, they will be investing in running the store. So they think this model will work, because a lot of, you might see in some areas where grocery stores, when they don't make a profit or sales fall off, they leave, and then there's just a vacant building. So hopefully this model will prevent that from happening.
Tell us what had to happen to have the funding to be able to do this in Venice.
Well, you have to have the right players at the table, so to speak. Dr. Ed Hightower was real instrumental in kind of coming into our community, seeing what our need was, and his relationships with the state and with the governor helped put us on the map that we were one of the most impoverished areas in Madison County, and there was desperately the need because of, we were labeled as a food desert, with no grocery stores in our area. And also, like I said, this grocery store was just part of a bigger picture where we have 38 new homes scheduled to be built for low to moderate income individuals. They will be rent to own, a medical center, which we were just kind of finalizing that about a couple of days ago. So it was an exciting time in the city of Venice.
Talk about what this means for residents. You mentioned you're a food desert. How far do people have to travel right now to get basic groceries?
So at least I was 5 to 10 miles maybe, because the nearest grocery store is in Granite City, Illinois. I think they have 2. So, we get a lot of feedback from people in the area that they always say they have to drive, different places to get groceries. So there's nothing near. So there's just an enthusiasm and just a spirit in the neighborhood of people excited about the things that come, especially the grocery store and the 38 new homes.
So I understand it was a $2.4 million grant that's going to help fund construction of the new building. What's the timeline?
Good question. So the timeline is actually in probably a couple of weeks. So February, the first week, or maybe fall into the second week of February, the dirt will be dug. Everything is in place. We actually had anticipated even a little earlier, but you never really know what problems you might have to run into. They did have to relocate some poles, but we just got confirmation that either the first week or the second week of February, dirt will be dug and we will move forward with the construction of the grocery store.
When would you anticipate that it might open its doors?
They're figuring that it should take anywhere from, I think, 5 months for it to be completed. That's, as we always say, hopefully with no bumps in the road, but you never can tell what might pop up. But as they're predicting at least 5 months, then they should have this completed, if not sooner.
Remind me, do you have a vendor in place already for that?
We do. Yes, ma'am, we do.
So when it comes to, how this will be operated, what will be the responsibility of Venice and what will be the responsibility of the vendor?
So mainly Venice is just the owner of the building. A majority of the responsibility, I would say almost 100%, will be up to the vendor. They have committed to making sure local residents are hired to work in the grocery store, keeping constant contact on us on the upkeep of the building and just keeping the city informed on how they're moving forward with it. But as far as with us managing it or, hiring employees, that will be taken care of by the vendors.
Well, we will check in with you in a few months and see how things are going.
Okay. I appreciate it, Megan. Thank you so very much.
All right. And that was Megan Lynch speaking with Philip White, the mayor of Venice, Illinois. It is 8:56.
Millions of pages of Epstein files have been released, but where does this lead us now? We're going to talk to Andrew Egger, White House correspondent for The Bulwark. Also, the Billikens basketball team continues to roll. Matt Pauley will discuss that with us. All coming up on the Chris and Amy Show next on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Time now